Shut up and grind the tape.
Let's grind.
We ain't come to play. We ain't come to play. Them dogs in your face.
Let's grind.
We ain't come to play. We ain't come to play. Shut up and grind the tape.
Let's grind.
We ain't come to play. We ain't come to play. Them dogs in your face. Shut up and grind.
Let's grind.
Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape.
The tape. Let's grind.
Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Shut up and grind. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape.
The tape.
Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro.
The tape.
UGA game day, boy, we ball out. Pull up, put the whole conference in the doghouse. Leave them 6 feet, see me on the win streak. All-star status, go coach, and the bench deep. Offense on 10, how we run it? Your best ain't nothing, we gon' send them boys punting. Black and red, got them dead on arrival. Defense hunkered down for the tie. Hey, you don't want it with the dogs. Film guy on it, you don't want it with my dog. Break it down, play by play, that's the day-to-day. They know we ain't come to play, boy, it's UGA. Kirby smart, I cannot play the fool. Back to back, we did not come to lose. Back to back, like we got something to prove. Pay your dues, dog nation on the move. What's up?
We doing a little bit different around here.
We ain't come to play, we ain't come to play. Shut up and grind the tape.
The tape. The tape.
We ain't come to play, we ain't come to play. Them dogs in your face.
Let's grind.
We ain't come to play, we ain't come to play. Shut up and grind the tape.
Shut up. Let's grind.
We ain't come to play, we ain't come to play. Them dogs in your face. Shut up and grind.
Let's grind.
Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape.
The tape. The
Shut
tape.
up and grind.
Let's grind.
Grind the tape, bro.
grind.
Grind the tape, bro.
grind.
Grind the tape, bro. Shut up and grind. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape.
The tape.
Shut up and grind. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro.
Shut up.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to MBR, or as we like to call it around here, Nothing But Rants, the show where I find topics that I'm oddly passionate about and I pontificate upon them. These are not hot takes, but rather takes that I'm hot about. What's up? You like that? You really like that?
Let's shut up and grind some tape.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome in to the Film Guy Network on a fabulous Monday evening. Look, here's the deal. We understand that those of you watching us live have chosen us over Bill Belichick and over the homie Josh Hoover. We understand that and we appreciate you for doing that. We decided as a collective show, we were going to give those who watch us on rewatch the same standard show when they wake up tomorrow morning on Wednesday or Tuesday morning and watch us like they normally do. So we are not going to change our habits for a Monday night football game, no different than we're not going to change our habits on a Monday night when the NFL starts. So we got a loaded show for you as we normally do. I want to open it up first and foremost by thanking you guys. I think we went up 3,000 subscribers yesterday alone. We have passed over 57,000 subscribers. It feels like just yesterday we crossed over 50,000. It feels like tomorrow we will cross over 100,000. So we appreciate you for that growth. There is no doubt about it. We are only able to do the things that we do because of how rapidly you guys are ingesting this type of content. So we appreciate you for doing that. And I will tell you what, people are excited to join on to this network. Okay. People are excited to join in on what it is that we are doing here, like our friends at Sleeper did. Okay. I am super excited to announce this tonight. We teased it today during Twitter or on Twitter. Okay. If you're not following me at Brooks Austin BA, make sure you're doing that. But hey, massive shine of growth and sign of investment into our platform from our friends at Sleeper. So we're going to talk more about them as the night progresses. You see them up in the
other side. There you go.
And we're back up in the top and left corner of your screen. Okay, you see them in the description of the YouTube video. I'll get you that paste and make sure it's in there. We'll talk more about those guys tonight. But hey, off rip, those folks at Sleeper, let's give them 3. All right, let's get into the show topics, boys. Was a massive week 1 of college football, and I think it lived up to the hype. Do you think it lived up to the hype? I thought it fit the bill.
Yeah,
I didn't think there was a lot of sloppy football, some good defenses, but we expect defense to be ahead of offense at this point in the time of the year.
I mean, I would say living up to the hype for me is always, if the games are still interesting by the time the second half rolls around. The Texas-Ohio State game, for as much as you want to say it was a defensive slugfest, was boring, was close. Alabama-Florida State was close. Miami-Notre Dame was close. Clemson-LSU was close. All the big marquee games were close in the waning minutes of the game. So, yeah, I think it lived up to the hype, absolutely.
Yeah, it may not have delivered in the sense of maybe how we thought those games were going to go. Like, it maybe didn't turn out to be an absolute duel between Julian Sayin and Arch Manning, or vice versa for Kay Klubnik and Garrett Nussmeier. But, I mean, as close football games went down to the wire, all the marquee matchups were, you were in there for 4 quarters.
Jonathan, I forgot to prepare you, but we're going to open with this Notre Dame and Miami game reactions from last night. Make sure Epic Pen is ready up for the board, because Shannon Dawson was in his bag last night with some man beaters, and I'm excited to go to the board and explain what he was doing as an offensive coordinator. I think first and foremost, the world kind of was reminded that, hey, Carson Beck is a really, really dynamic passer from the pocket. And I got pushback like that on this last night on social media, like, hey, he's not that good of a passer, but y'all have been watching this dude for 2 years apparently. I mean, there's 30 starts of real high quality work from within the pocket for this guy. But I think if you paid attention in that football game, especially in the second half, it was very obvious, hey, if you have Carson Beck as a quarterback in college football, now this might not be the case when he goes to the NFL, when he inevitably does, but when that guy is your quarterback, your run game gets really, really focused on, and your running backs get really, really focused on, and it becomes really hard to run the ball late in the second halves when you're trying to ice football games, because everybody is hyper-focused on the back. We know you're not keeping the ball. We know you will never keep the ball. You've done it really like twice in 31 starts at this point, and I think it needs to be something that they're going to have to do moving forward, because you saw it late in that fourth quarter. Guys, they were afraid to put the ball in the air, leaning on a run game that everybody was eyed and keyed on. Once Notre Dame made the switch to start double teaming Malachi Toney, the true freshman, who, my God, what a good football player. Once they made that decision, that offense got really, I'm not going to say anemic, but it became hard for Miami to consistently move the football.
Yeah, I mean, early in that football game, I was kind of taken back with how Notre Dame was not able to get much movement up front. You know, usually a staple of a Notre Dame football team is a defensive line and that front unit of the defense and how strong they are and how great they are. And it just wasn't there in the first half. And then you kind of saw it a little bit in the second half, but I think that was almost more so what Miami was relying on offensively, more so than it was what Notre Dame was doing defensively.
That Miami defensive line, they got some dudes, man. Mm-hmm. I tweeted about it. Ruben Bain might have the most thick lowers in college football.
Yeah.
That dude is big, and he moves exceptionally well.
I was surprised by how dominant Miami was on both sides of the line of scrimmage. I know that towards the back half of the game, they started loading the box against them and running the ball got harder, but they were pushing Notre Dame around in that first half.
Georgia had 4 pros, 4 NFL offensive linemen last year, and looked relatively staggered in the offensive line or in the running department. And I truly believe, as someone who watched it the last 2 years, it doesn't really matter how good your offensive line is. They've got more bodies running after the ball carrier. There's nothing to balance the count. Nothing late in those football games. You saw it. Miami's got 2 verified dudes. The right guard and the right tackle are going to be top 28 picks this year in the NFL draft. And they couldn't run the ball late in the fourth quarter because everybody knows, hey, the running backs get the ball right now.
Mm-hmm. I still just don't I don't understand this Jeremiah Love thing. No. I truly don't. And I commented under one of your tweets as it almost makes me have a conspiracy theory that there's some written contract that states that he can only get a certain amount of carries in a season and you can't exceed that amount.
He was on a pitch count in high school. He's been on a pitch count all 3 years in college. He will go into pro football next year with a career high of 17 attempts. And he'll probably, the moment he gets 21 touches in pro ball, he's going to go for 185 yards, and everybody's going to be pissed off they didn't do this in college. Yeah, I have no idea what it is or what's going on. I will tell you this much. Somebody commented that, is he on a pitch count? He has to be, because there's no way there ain't a dummy on Notre Dame's coaching staff. Breaking news. Like, Marcus Freeman is a good football coach. Those offensive defensive coordinators, I know they lost one to the league this year to Cincinnati on the defensive side of the football, but they don't hire dummies at Notre Dame. They never really have, or at least not since Marcus Freeman, and in my opinion, Brian Kelly was there. I think one of his first OC hires was Tommy Rees, who's now just skyrocketed right up college football and into the league. So they don't have bad football coaches. There must be some type of, you're right, it's not a contractual thing, but there must be we can't give him 20 totes, he's going to get hurt. Yeah. But when he's making plays like he's making in the fourth quarter, when he's doing things like he's doing in the fourth quarter, you can't tell me that you have to worry about it. Like, we got to worry about winning the damn game, because you damn sure aren't throwing the ball down the field.
No, and I mean, Jadarian Price was carrying the rock well as well. So yeah. I don't know what necessarily made them shy away, especially in that first half. It was kind of like, where is Jeremiah Love? But it was very interesting to see the way they attacked that game. I think one thing that we're not talking about with this Notre Dame team is that all last year, they beat teams in the margins. They didn't make mistakes. They didn't make turnovers. They didn't do things. We saw them make mistakes. We saw them make turnovers. Now, it was a monsoon out there. The field was soaked. We saw the game. But an interception, a fumble, like, those were big difference makers in that game. So
I do want to go to the board and talk about difference makers. I thought Shannon Dawson impacted that football game several times last night in critical downs. So let's take it to the board and talk some ball. Hey, make sure you hit that thumbs up button, like, subscribe, and rate, review, and all that good stuff. Hey, very first third down of the football game, when they got down in the red zone, they ran mesh Z spot. Okay, ran two wide receivers across from one another. Get rid of that extra line. Ran two receivers. That's the mesh concept for you non-ball or certified knowers. All right, and then spot ran the Z receiver right back to a spot right there over the spot of the ball, where we spot the ball. That's why it's called a spot route. All right, and it got covered up on 3rd and 8 down in the red zone. I think Christian Gray made a great play, knocking it down over Malachi Tony. Miami settled for a field goal. All right, the very next third down, they called mesh return. All right, they went over and ran one of these jokers right here and whipped it out on both sides. All right, Carson Beck hit Malachi Tony right here for a damn 20-yard after the catch. For those Madden players, I got multiple texts last night on the play call. It was like, oh, that looks like a little zigzag route that I call on NCAA or Madden. Yeah, but no. Yeah, like, they had to show the mesh first in order to actually run the mesh return. So it's a little bit more difficult than you sitting at home running with your zigzag route when you identify man coverage. Now, the real impressive thing, and Kirby, you and I were talking about this before the show, and I don't even know how to draw this up because it's going to look really, really confusing. But I think Shannon Dawson's most impressive thing as an offensive coordinator is his ability to create double moves out of bunched formations. Everybody runs double moves outside, right? Hitch and goes, slant and goes. We call those Hugos and Sluggos, right? But his ability to stack wide receivers, right? Get that slot, that big fat or that fast Malachi Tony joker in there, right? And get that Z receiver on the inside, and then get the X receiver, and then we're going to create a natural switch release right here, right? And against Notre Dame, a football team that wants to run a bunch of man coverage, we know they're going to put the star in there. All right, we know they're going to man-to-man with the guy that's irresponsible for the inside slot receiver. Go put him right there, and then stack the corner that's responsible for the X right there. All right, now why do they stack like that, guys? They put on different levels so they don't bump into each other when inevitably they cross. So when they do cross, what happens to the defensive backs? Okay, let's put these guys in blue. When this guy goes inside and runs with this leverage, the safety runs off with him, right? The Z goes here and runs off, the star runs with him. All right, when he comes off this way, the safety runs with him. Now we have the X onto that corner back there. And we double move him last night for a touchdown. That's that one-handed catch, all right, with CJ Daniels. So his ability to get into these stack bunches, stack releases, and create double moves. Last year, I saw him hit a 75-yard touchdown with Xavier Restrepo, very similarly out of a bunch look, okay? His ability to create explosives out of bunches is really, really impressive for me when I study those guys. I don't see a lot of dudes taking shots out of bunch the way that he does.
Yeah, it was really impressive to watch. And just the way they were setting it up throughout the game, that you could tell that that's what the goal was in line. And the patience that the Miami offense had and Shannon Dawson had in setting these plays up. They never really seemed eager to get that shot down the field. They were waiting for that perfect moment. So I enjoyed watching that.
I think that what I thought Miami did a really good job of is getting their quarterback settled in really early. Not that quarterback a veteran at this point. I mean, he's entering his third season of college football. But just kind of getting those first game nerves out maybe a little bit early on and getting him really settled in. I felt like Notre Dame wasn't able to do that with CJ Carr. I thought maybe that the touchdown that he threw when he was rolling out to his left, I thought maybe that was a moment of
spark, maybe.
All right, he's ready. But it just never felt like he got fully comfortable in this game. And it's easy to understand why, but I think, again, that kind of goes back to my point of like, why is Jeremiah Love not getting more run in this game? I think they could have utilized that to maybe ease some of the pressure off of CJ Carr, what he was feeling. But I feel like that was a big thing for Notre Dame, is that CJ Carr just really never like eased into the game.
It's weird. Like, it looked to me like they were running the Riley Leonard passing offense without the Riley Leonard legs. And that ain't going to work.
I mean, there are even some instances in the goal line where they tried to run the Riley Leonard running offense, and it just was not the same.
Yeah.
So there's obviously a big void that needs to be filled, and they need to figure out how to do it. I think that the best sign of good coordinators is when you have a loss of players and you build the offense around the new players. It seems like they're still trying to get CJ Carr to fit into that Riley Leonard styled system. So I'm going to be interested to see how they adapt to this throughout the season.
I was just baffled. I mean, midway through the third quarter, they throw a deep shot to the Malachi Fields, the Virginia transfer. I think it was the only ball they threw beyond 20 yards all day.
Felt like it.
They did not test these guys vertically at all.
They had that one deep route to the tight end that bust in the fourth quarter.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, on a corner route, right?
Mm-hmm. Correct. But other than that, they were not really pushing the ball.
And that was almost desperation mode, right? They were down 2 scores at that point.
Pretty much, yeah.
Close to it. Or down a score. Didn't that tie it? Go 24-24?
Yeah, it did tie it,
And
yes.
then they squatted on the football. What did you think of that decision late in that football game where Mario Cristobal runs it 3 times and then kicks a 48-yard field goal after having missed and had a bad snap on a rainy field?
I didn't hate it, to be honest.
You didn't?
I didn't hate it because
defense was playing so good.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Defense was playing so good. Why not trust your defense in that moment?
Here was my thing. Okay, here's my only thing. Now, this is easy for me to say when my job's not on the line every time we win and lose. Okay. Bro, I pay $4.5 million to trust my kicker. You know what I'm saying? I pay $4.5 million to ice a game with my kicker.
You pay $4.5 million to win the game, and that's what you did. And I think that's kind of where
and the $4.5 million puts you in a position. But I felt like late in the fourth quarter they were very, very hesitant. And they were one bust away from that game, and it happened, that game being tied. Mm-hmm. So I just felt like, and I don't know when they're going to get tested again. The next time when they play Florida in 2 weeks, if that game is close in the fourth quarter, we can't be like, especially it's at Hard Rock, right? Because they played at Florida last year, I believe, when Cam Ward shredded them.
Correct.
So you'll be at home. It'll be a nice nice environment for you again, but you might not be able to just float around with football teams. You want to finish football teams off.
Yeah, and I mean, like, Mario Cristobal is arguably the most notorious coach when it comes to making the wrong decisions in the split seconds of a game or when it's time to put a team away. Yeah. So, it ended up that your defense stepped up big because they were wreaking havoc on that last drive for Notre Dame. So, you know what? It's a good win for Mario Cristobal as much as it is for Miami, as much as it is for Carson Beck.
Yeah, for as many times that we've sat here and said, like, oh, how could you be more conservative in the fourth quarter? I feel like it was good.
It's a key win for Miami, no doubt. Notre Dame got to shake back. Nice and simple. All right, let's move on because week 1 had a bunch of football games, and normally Monday we are already moving on to previews, and we do have a preview tonight. We're going to look at that Michigan and Oklahoma game and make our way too early predictions already in that football game. But guys, I want to get you guys' reactions to this Ohio State and Texas game. I obviously had the floor to myself on Sunday. I'd like to get your thoughts. What did you think about the massive one up there as Ohio State knocks off Texas 14-7 in Columbus?
The best way I can describe this game from watching it was 2 teams that went in and said our defense is going to win this game and our offense is not going to lose it. It was very evident that both sides have very, very good defensive coordinators, very, very talented rosters on that side of the ball. And we're going to flex their muscle, throw a lot of things at new quarterbacks, not, first-year quarterbacks. I know it necessarily wasn't Arch Manning's first start, but show them things that they have never seen before and just say, all right, our offense is not going to make the mistake. Our offense isn't going to put someone else in a position to win the game for the other side. And in reality, that's what it was.
Mm-hmm. To me, it was obvious that they were trying to avoid, like both teams were trying to avoid their quarterback making the mistake,
right?
Because they were just forcing the run, and the run was not there for either team. Ohio State's longest run of the day was 8 yards. Arch Manning had the longest run for Texas at 15. Like, neither of these teams were running the ball very successfully. They were just kind of keeping in the short game, weren't really trying to take the top off the defense until Ohio State finally did, and ultimately kind of helped them prevail into this football game. But I think that, for me, Texas fans have to feel infuriated after this, because this is now 2 football games, in my opinion, that your defense played well enough to win that football game. Certainly played well enough this past weekend.
Hell, I'd argue 3. I'd argue the both times you played Georgia the last 2 years, and 4. The both times you played Ohio State, your defense played good enough for you to win.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Just kind of talking about this matchup though, of twice against Ohio State now. Your defense has played phenomenal, and surprisingly, it's been Sark's offense that hasn't been able to produce enough points and be consistent enough for you to win.
I have 2 things that I want to talk specifically to you, Jonathan, about, because you're in here most of the time when we do film studies. Do you remember the Arch Manning film study recording it with me back in the spring, right? And how clean his mechanics were. And how we do a pause test around here. Not how the kids say pause, but we pause the film when the quarterback releases the football. And all we're trying to judge is where you are mechanically. Are you mechanically clean? Are you leaning one way or the other? Are your shoulders square? Is your platform good? What are you doing? Is your energy clean, right? And he passed it with flying colors every single time in those 2.5 starts. That was not the same mechanical thrower of the football on tape in that football game that we showed you, that 45,000 of you have already watched, and most of you Texas fans. I do think it's going to clean up. It makes me think 2 things. One, he was really, really under a lot of pressure. The moment was very, very large for him, which is normal and is to be expected of a young football player. And the other thing is,
especially the way he was built up all off.
Facts. And the other thing is, it looks so bad. I wonder if he was hurt.
Man,
the mechanics were wildly different, and when that happens, 9 times out of 10, it's either you panicked and your whole wiring system just went to hell, or you're hurt.
I think
I don't want to excuse.
No, I think it's more of the first one where he was just so... on that last drive when Matthew Golden drops that football, he did not need to rip that ball. You did not need to throw it with that velocity.
There's a lot of that.
It was behind him. It's very obvious that Arch Manning was not comfortable in that pocket, and that's fine. It's your first start on the road against probably one of the best defenses you're going to face all season. I understand why all these things were there, but it's still not excusable. It's still a part of the reason why you lost.
I also do think what do you have, 30 attempts on Saturday?
I believe
something like that, somewhere, through his first start. I already have a concern of whether or not we can layer the football. I think Texas fans are going to go from a quarterback who lollipopped everything to a quarterback who's fitting to throw rods every time he tries to throw the ball. And I do think there is some overthrowing. Like the first play of the game, you have no business trying to throw that ball that hard, bud.
No.
Just flick it out there, big dog. We ain't got to work that hard. And I don't know. I haven't seen him layer the football. When we went back and watched last year's tape, even when we go back and watch it, it's all throw it as far as you can on deep balls, throw it as hard as you can on runners. We're rolling you right. The first play of Arch Manning, every single time he takes a snap, is some type of flood concept off play action. Go match it up. The first time he gets in against ULM, that's play. First time he gets in against Georgia, that's the play. The first play of the 2 starts against UTEP or whoever in Mississippi State, that's the play. First start against Ohio State, that's the play. Now that's the other conversation I want to have with you guys now that I'm not having it with myself. Y'all have all seen the film studies when I prepare people for Texas. That offense can be prepared for.
Yeah.
Very much
proven time and time again. It seems like anytime that's kind of an emphasis for us on this channel.
Buddy, when I got safety sitting like this, turned at you, all right, waiting for deep overs to run to their face, They're prepared.
And it's especially not going to work when, again, and it's something I've mentioned continuously heading into this matchup, was like, you got Caleb Downs of all people in the secondary.
Yeah.
And they did exactly what I hoped they were going to do, is that they were very multiple with that defense, and they used Caleb Downs the way that I wanted them to, and they just changed things up so much. I think it was almost impossible to expect what they were going to do.
That's the other thing. They got slammed with the 50 front again.
Yep.
Texas Sark, I'm telling you, you're going to keep getting it. They're going to throw 50 down fronts at you with wide nines and say, no, you're not running wide zone today, which means, no, you're not going to be able to play action us because our safeties aren't biting. They don't have to. So you're going to have to figure out an answer to that. Georgia stuffed you twice. Vandy, I thought, gave you a fight that shouldn't have been given to you offensively. And I know Texas fans blame that all on holding calls and the ref sucks and all that stuff, but like, I watched it, and then Georgia did it to you again, and then Ohio State's done it to you twice now as well. You're going to continue to get 50 down fronts.
I think another aspect that we need to talk about in this is the issue that Texas has winning in the margins. And we can go back to the Georgia game. They very well should have won that game in the SEC championship. Missed field goals. We talk about a pick six that should have been, where if you just turn around and block Lawson Lucky, you win that game most likely. The Ohio State game, we point out numerous times of how they had opportunities to win. They were in the red zone twice and walked away with no points. Mm-hmm. Like, Texas has played good enough in these games to actually win, and they somehow find a way to not do it. Now, credit to them because they handled business against Arizona State, got the overtime win there. But for the most part, Steve Sarkisian has a big issue winning the game when you need to do it in the margins.
That Matt Patricia defense, that was something scary to watch.
Yeah.
The level of complexity there was rather ridiculous for a first start with a new defensive coordinator. Mm-hmm. Now, I would imagine this is why I don't think this. I can almost guarantee this. I've never talked to an Ohio State source, and no coach gave me this information. I just think I know this player. I guarantee you Caleb Downs has full autonomy back there. I guarantee you Caleb Downs is a part of game planning. I guarantee you Caleb Downs was a part of their identity in terms of how they wanted to structure their defense. I guarantee it. And when you split coverage like this as much as they do, he's basically the defensive coordinator on the field because everybody's motioning them, especially a team like Texas. So when you have a guy in the back end just fixing everything up, dialing it up, being a quarterback in the back end, to really, really simplify the terminology for you guys, it makes everything so much easier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, again, like that truly was like you were watching it happen. If you're watching the game on the TV copy of Arch Manning post snap was just it just was freezing. It seemed like.
Hey, by the way, you Alabama fans here, just wait like 10 minutes. You're gonna cry in a second. It's gonna be all right. And not that you haven't been crying all weekend. It's okay, man. I don't even know how to. One of them is not as bad as you think, not as good as you think. Things. Nah, it was worse. When I went and watched it, I thought it was worse than it was ever going to be. That was crazy to see. But any more thoughts on this football game? Where were you right in this Texas-Ohio State football game?
I was right that Carnell Tate was going to be an X factor here.
Hey, attaboy. I gave you a shot. I know you don't watch Sunday show. I gave you a shout out.
I saw it. You saw it.
Attaboy.
Yeah, no, I mean, I figured at some point, like, Jeremiah Smith was going to be so accounted for. And we talk about how Texas didn't necessarily dictate that much in the Cotton Bowl. But at some point, when you're so worried about where number 4 is, there's a guy named Carnell Tate who's going to make plays, and he made a hell of a catch on Saturday.
Big time play.
I'd said that one of the biggest reasons why I was picking Ohio State to win this game was because of Jeremiah Smith and Caleb Downs. Wasn't exactly right on Jeremiah Smith, but still was, because he impacts the football game in ways even when he isn't getting the ball thrown his way. But, I mean, certainly hammered the point home with Caleb Downs being the best football player in college football, arguably. Like, that guy impacted that game so much.
I said it during film study, and I truly believe this. I think that's my take, my most recent take, that's like, if you disagree with me, I just think you're totally wrong. I 100% think he's the best player in college football.
It's hard to argue against.
And the only people that don't think he is are box score scouters, because I don't even think he had tackles Saturday.
You can't do that with him. You have to watch it.
You have to. It's mind-blowing, the things that guy does.
Yeah, totally agree.
It's a film-only obsession. Yeah. And I guarantee Ohio State fans see it every Saturday. They're like, whoa, where'd 2 come from? How about where you were wrong? I'll tell you what. I was wrong in the sense that I thought Texas was going to reload everywhere better in the areas of concern than than Ohio State. I thought Ohio State's new defensive line was better than Texas's new defensive line. I thought Ohio State's coordinators on the defensive side of the ball, at least, were elite. I got to go back and watch the offensive tape. I still haven't gotten to it yet, but I was wrong in the sense that I thought Texas was going to. Now, Texas's defense is still Texas's defense, and that's the good news for a Texas fan listening today.
I was wrong in thinking that Arch would be so prepared for this.
Yeah, me too.
Because everything that I listened to him talk about this offseason, like just listening to him, not even the things that he's saying, but just listening to how he talks, it just sounds like, obviously, like you're a professional and you've been around professionals your entire life, and Sarkisian has gotten to see him in multiple games over his career. It feels like you would be able to take an entire offseason and have him ready for this moment, and it just wasn't there. And I understand, like, there were so many things outside of what he was in control of that could have contributed to this, but just kind of overestimated maybe what a first-time start this season would look like for him.
Yeah, I was definitely wrong about how many turnovers would be in this game. I said that Arch would have 3. I don't think, other than the interception, Ohio State didn't have a turnover, did they? I mean, so the lack of takeaways I thought that you would see from these caliber of defenses, because you had quarterbacks trying to force themselves. I don't think I was anticipating both offensive coordinators just saying, all right, our quarterbacks are not going to lose us this game. We're taking them out of the equation. So that was kind of surprising me. I was wrong there.
All right, what's the good news here for Texas? Apart from the defense is great. And I think the other bullet point you got for you is whatever nerves that he just expressed, he got that one out of his system first and foremost, and you only lost by 7. That's how good the defense was. I think Cedric Baxter was a flash for me in that football game for them. I know they didn't have an opportunity to feed him late in the fourth quarter with the lead, but you're going to have opportunities this year to feed him late in fourth quarter with a lead. So that's good news for you there.
I mean, the schedule's constructed in a very friendly manner for you.
Amen.
So not only did you get the nerves out of the way in this one, but you have a schedule that is going to allow you to only get better and have you set up for a better position to win football games when your big matchups come up, when you have to play a Florida and Oklahoma. You get Georgia really late in the season. So those first game nerves are out of the way, but the schedule is really going to help you out as well.
The good news is for Texas, this loss is going to age very well. We're going to get to week 9, week 10 of the season and say, okay, yeah, they lost to Ohio State. Arch Manning was really bad, but you know what? It was a 7-point loss on the road, and Arch Manning has turned in a handful of good performances since then, and the Texas offense looks good. They seem to have improved, and you know, you're going to hear if these two teams played on a neutral site right now, I'd take Texas to win. I think that's going to be how this loss goes. Obviously, in the moment right now, you've seen Twitter blow up about how Arch Manning stinks, everyone's overrated, Steve Sarkisian sucks, all of that. You're going to have to deal with that for the first few days, and in the coming weeks, this loss will age much better than it looks right now.
Hell yeah. We already talked about what the film says about Arch. I think we're good on that football game. Y'all got any other thoughts?
Nope.
Comments, questions, concerns? Nope. We're good. All right. Hey, I told you about Sleeper to start the show. I want to give another shout out to our friends over there at Sleeper, the #1 place for daily fantasy and prop plays. Sleeper Picks is a real money product that connects friends over picks. Choose 2 to 8 of your favorite players from pregame, live, or even across different sports. Pick more than or less than predicted stats. It's that simple. On Sleeper, you can get up to 100% or 100x payouts. Share with your friends and get rewarded together today. Use promo code Brooks on Sleeper and get 100% match up to $100. Again, that's promo code Brooks for 100% deposit match up to $100. That's sleeper.com/promo/Brooks. Terms and conditions applies. Boys, I'm feeling frisky. Let's go ahead and get a pick in right now, shall we? Hey, they already got the Iowa State lines up. I'm going to go ahead and place some rushing line totals here. I'm going to tell you what, I am hammering quarterback unders on rushing totals because I'm getting my butt whooped right now by Gio Lopez's total on an already current and active play. All right, that being said, again, I'm going to take the over on Hanson, the Iowa State running back right there. We're going to hammer that one. All right, we're going to view this entry and see if it allows us to play. It does. We have a 3.25 or 3.5 or 3.25x play down there on the bottom. We're going to go ahead and submit the entry right there. Hey, do me a favor today. If you're not supporting those who support us, we need you to. Okay, that's how we keep this machine rolling. That's how we keep these folks, like good, fine folks like Sleeper, coming back for more. Like Sleeper, coming back for more. Okay, with your activity, your activation. All right, so head over to there today. Use promo code Brooks for 100% deposit match. Hey, them folks at Sleeper, let's go ahead and give them 3. AI, what you doing? You too good to give 3? You too good to give 3?
He learns as we go, though.
Florida State wins a single football game, and he's too good to give 3. Guess what? You only had 2 last year. Hey, give him 3. 0 for 2? Come on, AI. Come on, AI. Stay woke. Hey, where are we going next? Let's go into this.
Tigers.
LSU Clemson
There
game. That
you
boy
go.
Kirby set it up, baby. This is a damn good football game on
Was a
Saturday
great
night.
game.
Huh?
I think this was probably one of the best games of Saturday.
I would agree.
You know, Sunday's Miami Notre Dame game was really, really good. But this was 2 teams with a defensive performance. I mean, the final score was 17-14. But it had enough explosive plays. It had enough big moments in between to keep you entertained. Those are some of my favorite football games to watch. Really enjoy it. Was really impressed with LSU's defense out of all of the things. I mean, we came into this game kind of expecting Clemson was going to have a good defense. LSU was going to have, Garrett Nussmeier. They're going to both be good. The quarterback battle was going to be hype. But I was very, very impressed with what LSU put on tape on the defensive side of the football.
Oh, I mean, this game had it all. I mean, it had pivotal moments where it had big turnovers. Felt like that might be a difference in the game. It had both quarterbacks in spurts where they were playing really, really well. Felt like maybe they're going to catch on fire a little bit. Maybe we're going to get an epic second half. I felt like it was a true duel of the teams. I think we kind of went into this game thinking this is a duel between Nuss and Klubnik. I think it ultimately became a duel between the head coaches and really Blake Baker and Clemson's offense. I felt like that was the ultimate matchup in this football game of Blake Baker still being a madman, but this time it freaking worked. I mean, it worked wonders for them.
Yeah, no. I thought those were 2 playoff teams playing another.
It felt that way.
I went into the season thinking Clemson was going to dog walk the ACC. I walk away thinking that as well. Miami looked good last night. Don't get me wrong. But that defense from Clemson looks scary. They look like everything I thought they were. TJ Parker looks to me, you're doing the face and you can do the thing. Kirby, why are you skeptical on what just happened defensively from Clemson? I know offensive line-wise, still a problem. They were getting turned around and pressuring Clemson really, really quickly. Their running game, which we worried about all offseason, is still anemic. But they can Klubnik competitive and defense their way to an ACC title, and that's what I thought going into the season.
They are more than capable of doing that. I completely agree with you. I think that based on what we saw on Saturday and based on what we've seen the last 4 years, this team is not as bulletproof, especially in conference play, as we're making them out to be. That's all I'll say right there, because we've said it a long time on the show. They got pushed around once again by an SEC team. LSU was gashing them on the ground. Now, the interior defensive line held up well. The linebacker play is very good. They've had a very strong defensive performance. You hold them to 17 points. Probably should have been 24, but we're not going to go with there.
Should have been 24. I don't understand that.
Yeah,
There's 3 of the 4 of those this weekend. I don't understand catching a football anymore.
But no, to my point is it just seems like LSU or Clemson, while they are a step above the ACC, they're still a step below the big dogs. And I think that we've seen enough times now that those ACC teams get them every now and then. I don't think that's a cakewalk for the ACC.
I was really, really taken or blown away by the level of defense that they played. Mm-hmm. It took everything from Garrett Nussmeier to win that football game. Yeah. It took every right decision over and over. I thought Garrett made one bad decision the entire football game, and he was just dialed, and he scored 17 points. So I don't know how much better their offense. How many more better offenses and better quarterbacks are they going to play this year?
Not till they play South Carolina almost.
Yeah.
LSU, I think I would take LSU's offense in a vacuum over South Carolina. I understand the specialness of Lenore's. Hell, he's my Heisman pick, but they go through entire quarters of stagnation. Mm-hmm. They go through entire halves of can't put it together and find the spark.
Yeah, and I would say that my opinion on Clemson hasn't changed because I've said that they're a playoff team. I think they are going to get to the playoffs, but I also said that the first big matchup they have in the college football playoff, whether it's the first round, second round, or whenever, the first time they come up against one of those, that's where the road ends for them, in my opinion.
Hey, boys, how about 500 people choosing this over college football game right now?
Shout out
to
knowers.
I mean, ball knowers. Make sure you're hitting that thumbs up button, like, subscribe, and rate, review, and all that good stuff. I thought the film, I watched the film. We produced a film study on Garrett Nussmeier today. I already told you, I thought he was dialed. That guy has more NFL throws on his tape than any quarterback I've studied in the last 2 years. That dude is a baller. We talked about it the other day with the Aguilar study of just being a natural passer and a bucket getter. That's exactly what Garrett Nussmeier is to the umpth degree.
Yeah, and we talked about it throughout the offseason. Like, the biggest thing that needs to take a step in his game is not making the rash, sporadic decisions that put you in a situation where you can turn the ball over or create stagnation within your offense. And we felt like I didn't see any of that. There was one time where he did it, but other than that, he played on time. He played well. Like, he was making the right reads, the right throws. I was very impressed with Nuss.
Yeah, I have in my notes the more professional quarterback rose above the challenge on Saturday, and that was Garrett Nussmeier. He knew where every answer was. He knew where every vulnerability was, and he remained even keeled, I felt like, throughout this entire football game. Or Cade, on the other hand, I feel like he got sped up at times. And I think that's kind of a byproduct of what happens when you don't have an ability to run the football, and it kind of hinders your offense.
Not only that, I mean, becoming one-dimensional obviously allows everybody in the world to know that you're about to pass the football, especially when you're inefficient on first and second down. You end up in third and longs, and everybody knows what you're doing on third and long. You're throwing the football. But I can't tell you how many times I watched Clemson tape, and Clemson fans gave me pushback on this when I talked about it in the Texas study. Oh, we've gotten so much better. Matt Luke has gotten so much better. We've recruited so much better on the offensive line. You have, but I still don't think you recruit great athletes. I don't think you recruit great movers. And you see it every time you play one of these great teams. How many times, Clemson fan listen to this today, have you watched Cade Klubnik get to the top of his drop and immediately have to make somebody miss? That's not normal. That's not how that's supposed to work for most people. Every time I watch him, I leave thinking, that might be one of the toughest humans I've ever watched play. Mm-hmm. That might be one of the most toughest competitors I've ever watched play. It's not like that's the most talented thrower of the football I've ever watched, but that is one damn competitor at the quarterback position.
Yeah, I mean, there were a couple of hits on Saturday where I was like, oh, he for sure injured. Like, there was one where he was in the process of sliding and got hit in the ribs.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God. And he's popped right back up. I was impressed by that. So, I mean, he's absolutely tough. He's absolutely the right quarterback for Clemson. I just wonder, can he shatter that ceiling that he needs to?
I think I've got Cade Klubnik figured out now. I think that this game provided a lot of clarity for me on what I think he is and what his ceiling is. Cade Klubnik is not a guy that I want to put the entire game on his shoulders, and that's what you do when you can't run the ball. I think that's what's happened in some of these SEC matchups. It's certainly happened on Saturday. It happened against Georgia, and it's happened in these other big marquee matchups. So I've come to a comparison for Cade Klubnik. Cade Klubnik is Hendon Hooker to me. When everything works around him, when the run game is there, all the parts are working smoothly, he's going to be really good. He's going to be a great quarterback for you. He's going to be efficient. He's accurate enough, and he's going to be a great quarterback. However, when you can't, and he's a great enough athlete too. We just mentioned that. I think he's a great competitor and a good enough athlete at the college level to get you out of situations. And his ceiling as a quarterback is sitting in New York as a Heisman finalist, which I think Hendon Hooker would have been had he not gotten hurt at the end of that 2022 season. But when Georgia comes to town, and you can't run the football and you're outmatched, like what happened to Tennessee in 2022, he's not going to elevate you past that talent, and he's not going to make you overcome the deficiency of the talent around him. Yet he's still going to get drafted. He's still going to be in the NFL for a long time, and he still has a ceiling where he can be a winnable quarterback for you and is a really, really good quarterback for you. I just don't think that Cade Klubnik is an elevator and a guy that I want to walk into a football game and say, 45 attempts today, it's all on you, buddy.
Look, it's okay to say that Cade's going to be the third greatest Clemson quarterback of all time, and the difference between Deshaun Watson and Trevor Lawrence is exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if we got hindsight on Trevor. Trevor's turn. I don't watch a lot of NFL football, but it seems like he's finally turning the corner. He's finally becoming a thing in the NFL, or a success. It looked shaky the first couple of years. Would you agree?
Yeah,
looked kind of shaky. But I think that's what you're getting at. Like, he is. He's not the Peyton Manning of the Tennessee program. He's the Hendon Hooker of the Tennessee program.
Yeah,
that's what you're getting at.
Yeah,
that's fair.
Cade Klubnik is the guy that you take in the late first round. Cade Klubnik is not the guy that you take with the first overall pick and say, this is the guy that's going to take us to the next step. It's, hey, we can plug this guy into our roster right now because the parts are good enough around him and he'll be successful. He'll be good enough for us.
I don't hate that take. I think that's a pretty daggone good one. Man, there is a fan base that is pissed off right about now.
Oh, really?
And I don't think I ever envisioned a day in my life where Alabama would be 5-5 over their last 10. That is rather crazy to me. Now, we start with credit and then we get to criticism around this network. Hey, let's all give a slow golf clap to the Florida State Seminoles. So I'll give a slow golf clap to the Florida State Seminoles. Ha, 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 na, 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 boo, boo. These guys are idiots. We all three picked Alabama. We all three thought Alabama was going to roll them jokers. We all three thought Thomas Castellanos was an absolute idiot to even talk about the way he talked about. And he came out absolutely dialed. There was not a football player more prepared on the field than Thomas Castellanos for what he was about to get. Now, that made it really, really easy because the other 11 guys on the other side of the football had no idea what was going on. They had no idea what was going on. And I'm going to be honest, I'm really, really in a conflict here. I don't know if I want to do the film, but I think I'm going to have to do the film. And I'm going to try my best not to be just a super Debbie Downer, negative Nancy guy, but there is a lot wrong. And you know this if you're an Alabama fan watching this because you watched the football game. But it is bad. There's a lot wrong going on right now at Alabama, particularly defensively. I haven't had my opportunity to watch the quarterback, but the young quarterback looks like a young quarterback to me. My problems with what I saw on tape from Alabama were on the defensive side of the football, and I got 3 bullet points for you right now that I can just tell based off the tape. It's screaming to me. First and foremost, they were not prepared mentally for that football game. When you play a option football team, when you play a movement offense, when you play a jet sweep, eye discipline offense, okay, it's very clear to me when you are and aren't prepared. Watch the linebackers. If you see linebackers floating and never moving downhill, never progressing, just floating and often guessing wrong, buddy, they didn't see enough of the reps during practice. They just didn't. Now, you can tell me that they saw everything, but how many times did they see it? That's my question. How many times did those linebackers see what they were actually about to see during practice? Because just because they saw it once don't mean they saw it enough times, obviously, because I watched the tape and if we could all see it, we see the results as well. Okay? When you see guys playing on their heels, that tells me they're not prepared. And I've seen Alabama defensive players play on their heels a whole hell of a lot the last couple of seasons. All right? The other thing about this, I can tell you're not prepared when you go play a mobile quarterback and on 3rd and 12, it's very clear to me that throughout the entire offseason, not a single soul talked to anybody in my defensive line room about anything regards to a level rush. About the idea, hey, we don't need to get on different levels rushing this cat because he's going to slip through the cracks and run for 35 yards. Also, by the way, we don't have a level rush while we're playing zone defense. Tell me if that makes sense, boys. It doesn't. We don't have a spy on the guy, yet we're also on different levels rushing the passer. That's weird. We got guys loafing all over the field and nobody in the upper deck saying, hey, get so-and-so off the field. He's damn near walking on the touchdown 17 plays in. That's the other thing that's clear as day when you watch the film of Alabama on Saturday. Not just did they get pushed around, guys, they were gassed 17 plays in. I got a 3.5 million view video right now of a dude basically walking on a touchdown pass. It's 17 plays in. That's not play 74. That's not play 80. It's play 17. And he's walking, halfway walking through the field. That ain't it. All right, I can also tell you don't practice based off the tape. I can tell you do not practice hard. I tweeted about this today. When you aren't vicing the football correctly, when you aren't leveraging the football correctly on the defensive side of the football, you clearly haven't tackled all fall camp. You clearly have not been practicing full speed. When you're constantly taking bad angles, you clearly have not practiced. It's very, very obvious. That stuff screams all over the tape. Don't get me started on some of the stuff that I don't like with regards to Kane Womack. We'll talk about it on the film because every single time I watch Alabama football, the other coordinator is just boxing that dude's lights out. And this is why I don't want to do that. This is why I don't want to do that film study because my notes are nice and calm. My notes are nice and calm. And then I get in here and you see I didn't look at them notes. I just gave you that full-throated passion. And I'm going to get in front of the film. I got 35 clips and they're all bad. 35 clips in a row. I got coaching points. And I don't want to do that because the internet's already crushing these people. They're already crushing these people. We got people talking about hiring Buddy Summerall from Tulane already. We got people already looking at buyouts, which I think are north of $65 million. Don't get me started on how much they're already crushing the kids. I felt bad that the damn video went viral of him loafing, but buddy, you put that on tape. I think I'm good.
I feel like there has been an oversight with the Alabama football program with this coaching staff. And the reason why I feel that way is because, to me, it seems like the biggest focus for Kalen DeBoer and his staff since he got there has been making sure that we acquire talented football players. And you did that. You got a top recruiting class last year, and we all applauded you for it, because a question that everybody had about you was, can you walk down here in the South and can you recruit with the big boys? Can you do that in the state of Alabama? You did that, and then you retained a lot of your roster last year. What's up?
No, I wanted you to finish your point, and I just wanted to let the audience know that I need to take a breaker. You know what? We've been hot. We've been hot. You know me, boys. This season, when I'm vicing with quality. All right? And when I think of high quality with regards to nicotine, I think of my folks over at Lucy's. All right? If you're not heading over to Lucy's today, please do me a favor. Tonight's flavor of choice, the berry citrus. All right? Go support those who support us today. Go to lucy.co/FGN and use promo code FGN today to get 20% off your first order. Lucy also has a 30-day refund policy, which you ain't going to need, but if you do so change your mind, they got it for you there. Again, that's lucy.co, and use that code FGN to get 20% off today. I do have to read this. Here comes the fine print. Lucy products are only for adults of legal age, and every order is age verified. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. Continue your thought process there, Jonathan. My bad, buddy.
No, you're good.
Gotta pay the bills, baby. Gotta pay the bills.
I think that there's been a serious oversight with Kalen DeBoer and the staff since he got there, because I think that the biggest thing for them has been, let's make sure that we acquire the most talented football players, and we continue this trend that Alabama recruits to the top class in the country every single year, and we get the most talented football players out of the portal, this, that, and the other. And you've done that. We applauded you when you got a top 3 class in the last year on the recruiting trail, and you retained a lot of your roster last year, one of the most talented rosters in college football. Good on you. But this is now year 2 of us seeing things on the football field that don't indicate to me that this is a well-coached football team, that this is a disciplined football team, and of course it's not the Alabama of the old, but this is not even a Kalen DeBoer Washington football team that I watched a couple years ago.
In his, what has he got, 15 games? In his 15 games at Alabama, he has never been the team that's been less penalized than the other team. He's been more penalized in every single football game than his opponent.
Yeah, I mean,
you're not going to win. You're not going to consistently win doing stuff like that.
I mean, it's like,
I didn't even add into my rant about Mr. Womack the idea that everybody, you don't even got to know ball to know this one. Everybody and their mama that watched that football game on Saturday noticed number 0, and I'm not even going to say his name because I respect the hell out of his game. It ain't even his fault. He had a catastrophic knee injury last year. It's his first game back. Of course he's going to be slow. My man's number 0 is standing in a gap, ball on the right hash, and Womack wants him to reroute a 4.38 running back, running a wheel down the sideline. We give up a 65-yard explosive going, I don't know why. I don't know why, coach, because you asked the damn linebacker who can't hardly run today to turn and run. What are we doing?
I mean, it's guys crashing out on the football field last year. That didn't look good. And then I see a clip pop up on social media of 2 defensive linemen laughing and giggling as Florida State is kneeing the ball out.
Why?
Just inexplicable, unexplainable things happening with this football team.
I saw a fake story about, and at this point, I think it might be damn true because look at the bodies on the field. I saw people on Twitter freaking out about some internet rumor that, I stayed at the team hotel. I saw teammates or team members ordering Uber Eats at 1:15 in the morning. And people are like, you really believe that? Yeah, hell yeah. Watch Alabama. I believe something like that could have happened. Something like that might be happening at that program. Watch how undisciplined they are down. Not even the stuff after the whistle. Not even goofy stuff. We're celebrating. I saw somebody celebrate holding up a 4th down sign, down 14 points in the 4th. Buddy, you made a tackle. Jog your butt to the sideline. You know what I mean? Like that kind of stuff.
I think the feeling I got watching this game was very similar to the Mike Tyson-Jake Paul fight. and where you watch.
Where's this going?
Just let me get there. You watch someone or something that was at the top of the game, top of the sport, unstoppable, and it is completely unrecognizable from what you thought it was. It's slower. It's not as disciplined. It's not as hard hitting. It's not any of the things that made it great, and that is the biggest issue that Kalen DeBoer has right now. It's not talent on the field. It's why Alabama was in the top 10 preseason. There's plenty of talent to go around. We think that schemes are fine, but we'll get into that later. The reality of it is Alabama was so good through the 17 years of Nick Saban because they were physically bludgeoning, they were disciplined in the margins, and they did all of the little things right. 3 of those things have not been accomplished in these 14 or 15 games that Kalen DeBoer has been there, and that's the biggest problem. The other red flag for me is how we heard all offseason, it's different around here. Kalen DeBoer is on everyone. You can't come to practice late now. You can't do all of these things.
You got to show up on time.
Yeah.
Well, that wasn't required. What?
They're harder on us than they've ever been. It feels like Saban's back. And it was not apparent on the field at all. I mean, I don't have to point out the moments. Brooks did it. Jay did it. You watched the game, most likely. That is not what Alabama football was under Nick Saban. And I don't see how necessarily you get that back under Kalen DeBoer.
I mean, it's unraveled so quickly. I saw a news article released yesterday on Tuscaloosa News that was talking about how fans on social media have been talking about, well, screw football. Let's just give all of our money to Nate Oates and let the basketball team win a national title. Alabama fans talking about, let's be a basketball school because we don't want to care about our football team right now.
That was, you said what? Who wrote
Tuscaloosa News.
Yeah, that ain't like some yard barker. You know, that's a real credited company that saw such a reaction and got so many fans telling them that they then wrote a corresponding article. So it must be a wide felt feeling in that fan base, which you're right. That's insane.
I saw one guy say that he had to take a late night drive after the game. He had to go clear his head after watching that football game.
I mean, I feel like it's pretty evident at this point that Kalen DeBoer figured he was getting a turnkey operation when he went to University of Alabama. That Saban had built this up so much that it is an unstoppable machine that all I have to do is do everything that I've been doing before.
He thought he had a 3 and done. I think he looked at Alabama as I can go in there, cruise to wins for 3 years, and then go to the NFL because I'm stamped now.
I mean,
guys, I came on this network at what point last year and told you they don't practice? When was that? In September of last year?
Was it after Vandy?
October of last year?
Oh, you're talking. Yeah.
Alabama.
Yeah.
I came in here and said, hey, they don't practice hard. They walk around and act like they're an NFL operation. They ain't banging and clanging. Ain't no bloody Tuesdays. They ain't out here getting after it in practice. And again, watch that film. That looks like a defense that just found out live football. Football is indeed live when I watched them on tape.
Yeah,
sorry, I'm trying to tweet videos while we're live. We're trying to get good like that.
Oh, yeah. But no, I think that the biggest problem that Kalen DeBoer has is that the Alabama football team right now is missing everything that made it good outside of talent. And I don't know if it's just something that you can magically say, we got to go get this now. That is something that's within you. It's an innate trait of coaching. And I know that Kalen DeBoer has won everywhere he's gone. He hasn't been in the South. And he hasn't been a brand of football that was that physical, that is that rigorous on the daily day. And I'm not saying, OSCC is hard or anything like that. Football in this area, in this region, whether it's ACC, SEC, Big Ten, whatever you want, that region, that style of play is something that he has not faced. He went from Pac-12 to where he is now. It's completely different.
What do you do to get the trust back from your fan base? Because, look,
short and simple win, but I don't.
Yeah, win consistently.
Win consistently and win the right way.
But the way I'm looking at this is, even if Alabama goes out and beats Georgia on the road in a few weeks, all that's going to be said is, well, we did that last year, and then we went on to lose several games that we definitely shouldn't have.
Yeah.
So I don't know what it takes to get trust back at this point. Like, after losing this game, after losing the Michigan game, after losing to Vanderbilt, after losing to Oklahoma, I don't know, man.
I think that outside of going out and winning the SEC championship and making a deep run in the college football playoff, Because, I mean, let's be honest, that's still open for them. You're still 0-0 in conference play. You're still very much on. Everything's still on the table for you. It just feels like it isn't right now because you lost to a team that you were favored by 2 touchdowns against. So to get trust back for Kalen DeBoer would be you just have to win out expeditiously. Look like a team on fire doing that. The problem is we saw this happen last year where they lost to Vandy and it was kind of like, oh, that's embarrassing, but they're probably about to go nuclear because this is a roster full of guys that came from the Saban era. They don't like losing. Follow that up with a loss to Oklahoma. Follow that up with a loss to Tennessee. Follow that up with an embarrassing bowl performance to Michigan. Now it's this year. Oh, they're mad at what happened last year. They're coming out. They're going to come out firing. They got more talent. Kalen DeBoer's got his guy at quarterback. He's got Ryan Grubb back at OC. Lost to Florida State. So I like the belief that they're going to come out firing and mad is gone.
Yeah. I also think the belief that people fear them is 100% gone. You know? That whole it's Bama coming to town like that. I don't think that has an effect.
It's excitement now.
Except for in our Georgia Discord.
Yeah.
Like they still think the Super Bowl winning Kansas City Chiefs are coming to town in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
You know, they think they're going to turn into superheroes again.
It feels like it's more of an excitement now when you get to play Bama. Like, it's our turn now. We get
Someone
to
said it was instead of a challenge, they looked at it as an opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's a solid take. I think it was from Pate, to be honest with you. As per usual. With elite takes. But no, it was a staggering football game to watch. Just from a lack of effort standpoint. I also, when I see that 17, 18, 19 plays in, I'm like, what did y'all do all summer?
I mean,
they said they had players throwing up on the sideline, guys. Yeah,
it ain't like that's a humidity thing. You got humidity down there.
We got humidity over here.
Yeah,
it's
but
hot.
It wasn't like it was a hot day.
It rained.
Like it was
monsooned in the middle of the game and overcast.
It was overcast most of the day. It was like I'd understand if it rained all week leading up to that and it was 95 in Tallahassee.
Plus, you're my chicken and rice guy as well. Like you're my workout guy. You eat clean. Don't they look bloated to you?
They don't look great.
Every player I see in Alabama the last several years has just looked extremely bloated. Like just large. I'm sure they're strong, but they don't move well. None of those guys move well. Mm-mm. It's very, very weird to me. I tweeted about this. I never thought I'd turn the tape. It's one thing to be lazy. It's another thing to be slow. Mm-hmm. The football team is slow. That's crazy to me.
I think one thing that this game also kind of emphasized to me is I don't think that Nick Saban is as involved as people think he is, because you're going to tell me that a guy that faced Gus Malzahn for years on years at Auburn.
Well, to be fair,
I know Gus Malzahn got Nick Saban multiple times, but still, like you were talking about how unprepared they looked. You would think that you would have at least looked prepared, like you knew what you were looking at, like you were prepared for what Gus Malzahn was going to run, and it looked like they had no idea, like they just didn't know what to expect. So that from that aspect of things, I know that Gus Malzahn has certainly gotten Alabama his fair share over the years, but that just looked different.
Like a player, and he's a great player, but he is getting a little exposed in the athleticism department, despite the fact that he's apparently a freak athlete. Caden Proctor, no different than we had this conversation about Peter Woods, who, have you seen him, by the way, lately? Yeah. Peter Woods lost weight, and he's going to be a top 5 pick now.
Yep.
All right? But Caden Proctor is a 6'6". He's playing at like 365 pounds. Find me an NFL left tackle. Find me an NFL right tackle that's 6'6", 365 pounds. They don't make them. They're all 330 unless they're 6'9". Unless they're Troy Brown, unless they're Amarius Mims, unless they're not that heavy. And by the way, I think Amarius needs to lose weight. I don't think Amarius needs to be playing at 345 pounds, 350 pounds. I think he'd be better at 330. Because guess who you're blocking? Michael Parsons. Guess who you're blocking? The freak twitch athlete from Florida State. Guess who you're blocking? You're blocking someone better than you in the athleticism department every single time. No matter how many times Alabama's strength and conditioning coordinator tells me that he's got mythical 40 numbers and mythical vertical numbers and mythical yada, 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 height, weight, speed stuff. Oh my God, he squats 7 million pounds. Yeah, but he still looks relatively immobile on Saturdays, which is where it matters. That's a major concern to me.
I mean, you could go down the list and just talk about things that are concerning. My biggest concern now is what does the end of the 2025 season look like for Caleb? Because it's not like the schedule gets easier. We all thought this was a gimme win. Wisconsin, you better beat that team. You travel to Georgia, Vanderbilt, you lost to them.
You lose to Wisconsin at home next week, they're running you out of town.
Yeah.
It don't even matter if they got a crowd source to $80 million or whatever it's going to cost. They're going to run you out.
I mean, Georgia, Vanderbilt, at Missouri. Then you go on a streak where you play Tennessee, South Carolina, LSU, Oklahoma, at Eastern Illinois, and then you close the season out with Auburn. Like, you are in territory now where 6-6, 7-5 is on the table because of what you just put out on Saturday. I think they'll do better than that, but that's the reality. Like,
sounds so scary.
You could see them losing to Georgia. I mean, I don't think they're going to lose to Vanderbilt, but it happened last year. They should beat Missouri, but Tennessee looks a lot better this year. South Carolina could very well get you. LSU, they have your number. Oklahoma, I mean, you could do this for a multitude of teams now. Like, things just got very, very real for Alabama and Kalen Moore.
Hey, that Auburn game looks real tough now at the end of the season. Watching Jackson Arnold run all over Baylor, and then watching you get ran all over by Thomas Castellanos. That don't look very good for you. Hey, we do have some super chubs we got to get in the local hour. I think I noticed those are local hour based questions. We haven't missed those. TCU is up 10-7 in this football game right now. We have over 700 people watching us on YouTube. Make sure you're hitting that thumbs up button. We got another loaded hour coming up right now after the break.
Welcome into Talk the Dog, the show where we find a bone to pick and a take to give. These are not hot takes. These is dog takes. Can I talk that dog?
What's up? You like that? You really like that?
Let's shut up and grind some tape.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back into the Film Guy Network on what is set to be another loaded local hour. Speaking of the local hour, guys, I'm giving opportunities to any local business that wants to potentially use or help use this platform to spread awareness on their brand, also to help us pay our bills here. So to start the local hour today, I want to give a good shout out to our friends over at Worling, Schilling, and Randall Insurance Company. Guys, this is a 3-generation lineage of certified ball knowers that love this here network and have done so by supporting it. Here to help all your business, home, auto, and life insurance needs. Serving Georgia and the Southeast from Marietta, Georgia since 1920 with great companies like the Hartford, Auto Owners, Travelers, Liberty Mutual, Geico, Hanover, Progressive, and more. They have a free giveaway as well. Listeners of this show can email WT@WSRinsurance.com prior to Georgia games every week with your guesses for the final score of that Saturday's game, and the first correct guess will get a $50 Amex gift card. So here's the deal: there's a free $50 available if you message the correct score first to WSRinsurance.com. All right, prior to the game, WSRinsurance.com. Hey, go ahead and mark that down for like 7 or 8 ticks of football brain.
We're getting a whole show of you in the helmet at this point.
Oh, I know, buddy. It's not tracking well for me with regards to that helmet. I think on Friday Night's Mike, we had like 8 or 9 versions of.
Nice.
Buddy, what's going on with your brain? Yeah, I'm sorry.
Hey, we all have them, dude. I had them earlier.
Yeah, we'll put that in the description of the video today. That's on me. WT@WSRinsurance.com. Whit, I apologize for that, man. That's on me. Shout out to Whit and his family for being certified ball knowers. Let's get into the local hour. Guys, we had a film study today. First one of the year. Now, Jonathan, I want to talk to you, the Georgia homer who graduated at the University of Georgia and is allowed to be a homer. How good that feel?
Oh, it was so refreshing.
It wasn't just good because we got to watch Georgia film. It was good because we enjoyed watching Georgia film. And I'm going to rattle tat through all of this stuff. And these are all really, really good things for Georgia's futures. I'm telling you right now. And I'm going to tell it up front. If you're one of these people that's worried about the passing game, we got you. All right. So calm you know what's. First and foremost, Zachariah Branch might go for a rack. Zachariah Branch might go for a rack, and I know we do this every year, but I mean, did he go for over 100 on Saturday, or was damn close to doing it with 3 touches?
3 for 95.
Yeah, 3 for 95 ain't damn bad. It's going to be that explosive against everybody. He is an angle defier. All right, you think you got that guy with a good angle on him? You don't. He's going to run right by you every single time. And here's the deal, guys. They're going to be able to run the ball so successfully for everything I'm going to talk about moving forward that he is going to be the extension of the run game. He is going to be the guy that gets all of the run after the catches opportunities in this offense. They got switch releases for him to get yak opportunities twice against Marshall. How many times do you think they'll get him those opportunities in a game that they feel as if they need to win? All right, they need him to win. They got him 3 touches for 95 on Saturday. Imagine what it's going to be when he gets 7 against Tennessee, because he's going to get 7 against Tennessee. He better. All right, so that's first and foremost. I talk about the extension of the run game. Oscar Delp is doing everything that we talked about him needing to do. They talked about this guy being a transcendent blocker in the run game, a transcendent blocker, or could be a transcendent blocker in the extension of the run game, right? All that yards after catch stuff. We're talking about screens, flares, all that good stuff. Oscar and Lawson were elite. They were back to elite. Bigs blocking smalls. How many explosive runs off of whatever action they got in the backfield where you saw Brock Bowers and Darnell Washington burying safeties 25 yards downfield while a wide receiver on an end around runs 65 for a touchdown. That stuff on tape showed up again for the first time in 2 years yesterday. That was refreshing to see. I'm going to need a shake back from my boy Drew.
Yeah.
There ain't no doubt about that. I'm a little bit disappointed. I'm going to need a shake back from my boy Drew.
But even then, it wasn't...
We're talking about Drew Bobo, by the way.
But even though it wasn't... Yes, it wasn't his best game he's put on tape, but it was also like, it's just the little things.
Yeah.
It's not like we're getting beat physically. It's not like you're making the wrong decisions, you're making the wrong reads. You're just absolutely doing a horrible job at your position. Mm-hmm. Yeah, get your head outside a little more. Keep your eyes peeled for a linebacker dropping on the double team. Stuff like that. Yeah. But
that's all it really was. It was, you're overcommitting. You're burying your eyes a little bit too much. Get your head out. All right. Slow down just a little bit and play smarter, not more aggressive. You got plenty of aggression in you, Bubba. Let's play smart, What
I love still, though, is like, even if he's not having his best game, you're still going to get what you expect from Drew Bobo of, hey, if we've got a 60-yarder breaking right now, Drew Bobo is going to be down there with him by the end of it. He's going to be down there looking for anything that he can find, or he's going to be down there celebrating with his teammate at the very least.
Yeah, it certainly wasn't an effort issue for Drew Bobo.
That's my last note is like, dude, the fire, passion, and energy exuded off the tape. It jumped off the tape. And we'll talk about it right now. I can't tell you when was the last time I saw a wide receiver like we saw with Dylan Bell on Zachariah Branch's touchdown be 55, 60 yards downfield, efforting to the echo of the whistle. Noah Thomas efforting to the echo of the whistle. Lil Nut pursuing like a bat out of hell, okay? Yeah. Chasing the ball. Drew Bobo chasing the ball, okay? I watched a clip. We showed you a clip on the film study of Juan Gaston not necessarily taking the right steps on a short yardage effort play, but he efforted, and the effort ultimately won the snap. And that's what it's all about. It's about fire, passion, and energy. If you don't know where you're going, you better go fast. If you don't do the right thing, you better do it hard. And that's what they got going on right now. And it's fun to see it again, because I told you, I was honest the other night, I got tired of watching Georgia tape last year. I was excited last night up till 2:30 in the morning watching Georgia football tape. Couldn't get enough.
And that's the other thing too, is like something that we talked about last year, is we felt like in these types of matchups, the team just kind of came out flat. You got the antithesis of it yesterday. It was like these boys had been waiting to play football just like the rest of us. We've been waiting that long for college football. They came out just as fired up as we were.
Jonathan, they were so elementary in the passing game. They were so elementary. The other team was dropping 8 at oftentimes of obvious passing downs. They had a very, very rudimentary offensive passing attack, so much so that they ran 4 verticals 2 times in a row in a 2-minute drill, and you scored 45 points. Y'all couldn't do that the last 2 years. Y'all couldn't come out and just be vanilla and punch somebody in the face and run it down their throat against their will. You couldn't do it. You just did that Saturday. I thought that was a major takeaway for me in that football game. People asking about Juan Gaston. I was told X-rays are negative, MRIs are negative, all signs are positive. I just don't know when he's going to play. We get Kirby Smart. You get Kirby Smart at noon tomorrow. Which one of y'all's going?
I'm going.
You're going. You get Kirby Smart at noon tomorrow. I'm sure that question will be asked. I'm sure we will have notes on it.
Yes, I will.
That being said as well, speaking of the offensive line and continuing that conversation, I thought Monroe Freeling played a really, really damn good game. I think he's going to be exceptional at left tackle for future reference. I also got a text. I tweeted a video of him. I got a text from an SEC scouting director that said, we scouted Georgia today. I wrote down a first-round eval on Monroe Freeling off of one football.
And that just, like, for me, watching Monroe Freeling play in that game, and like people were slapping it as an excuse last year, but it did indicate to me just how hurt that guy was at times last year, because I didn't see a whole lot of that from Monroe, but I always knew, like, you knew it was there because you had seen it in the previous season where he was spot playing for Georgia. You saw flashes like that from him. And Saturday, it was just every time he was in the game, he was doing something that was like, yep, that's exactly what we thought you were going to be out of high school.
And as soon as Ernest goes down with, I think they said back stiffness. Is that what he said? Or just stiffness?
Stiffness.
Just some stiffness.
They don't specify.
Got the stiffness.
Come on.
But this is a guy who had back surgery as soon as he got to Georgia. So I'm assuming if it's stiffness in his back. I mean, you don't get stiffness in your hamstring. That's tightness. You either get stiffness in your back or stiffness in your neck. Correct?
Or your shoulder.
That's soreness. Got a little bit of soreness, if you've ever heard. You got to read through the coach speak, man. You know? I ought to write a coach's thesaurus, a coach's dictionary. You know,
I mean, yeah, I guess so.
But anyways, as he goes down or, gets inactive, he doesn't go down. They basically pull him from the football game for safety purposes or, longevity purposes. Bo Hughley comes in the football game. And it's very clear to me that Bo Hughley might be one of the best athletes on the roster, but he's still lacking a little back end. You know what I mean? We still playing way too over our toes.
Right.
All right. You listen to AI, you high school offensive linemen, we don't need to be playing over our toes. And when you are playing over your toes, it's you telling me, and I know, and the film knows that you're not strong enough right now to do what I'm asking you to do, to play in your lowers, all right, to roll your hips, to bring your belly button, all that good stuff. If you feel too aggressive and you feel like you have to play all the time with your hat, you're not strong enough, and you're not strong enough. We need you to get stronger.
Yeah, and I think too, like, while the offensive line maybe didn't play perfect on Saturday, the fact that Lawson Lucky and Oscar Delp were blocking that the way that they were, if you get that all season, you're gonna make up for where maybe you're missing on certain plays.
All right, we have two combos left on the film notes that I want to talk about. First of all, it's the conversation with Gunner in the running department, right? It's been very clear to me that they have had an obvious conversation with Gunner Stockton about when we are allowed to run the football and when we are not, okay? Because we have to protect you from your own self every once in a while, Gunner. All right, if you go back and study it like we did today, you will notice Gunner Stockton pulls the football on 1 3rd and 2, 2 4th and 2s, 1 4th down in the red zone. Y'all starting to get a trend here. It's all critical downs. He pulls it down and scrambles one time in a 2-minute drill and gets his butt out of bounds. Those are 5 opportunities for him to run. Apart from, hey, we just called a rollout right, the play is dead, scramble out of bounds. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the moments he decides to pull the football down and run. They were all critical downs, all right? And I guarantee you he has been told on 1st down, you are not allowed to pull the football. On 2nd and 2, you are not allowed to pull the football. On 4th and 1, go be a ball player. And I think that's the right conversation to have with him in terms of his running ability. We have another conversation we need to have as a passer, but what do you think about that? And did you notice that on Saturday?
About the running?
Yeah, about when he's allowed to run, because we want to protect him. It's very easy to, if you don't have a conversation with him, to look up and he's pulling the ball on 1st down, trying to run over a safety. Well, and next thing you know, we're on the sideline.
I would also change it to when he's allowed to run to when they need him to run, because I feel like there's going to be...
That's when you're allowed. When we need you, that's when you're allowed to.
Right, but I feel like he also is going to have full autonomy of this offense. I feel like this was more of a situational setting. There are going to be times, because like you've said, you don't want to become a tendency things. If it gets to 1st and 2nd down, oh, you know what? They don't let him run on 1st and 2nd down. It's only the critical downs. You're going to start teeing off on the run back, and you're right back to where you were last year.
This is one of those times where Brooksy builds a segment knowing that a conversation was indeed had.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay. I believe that. I'm just saying that I feel like there's also going to be instances where you see these first and second down runs
in critical games for sure. Right? Like first possession, they just scored. We're down 7-0 on the road. We went 3 and out. First play of the drive, quarterback draw, some type of lead draw. We pick up 9 yards, get into a second one.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Stuff like that.
Absolutely.
So,
100%.
but I agree with you that he's going to be used sparingly. It's not going to be Gunnar Stockton is a key piece to the running. I think he had 4 design runs on Saturday.
The other thing about his running ability, my God, I should have known, but that first step is real. I don't know if he
the acceleration on
man.
I don't
the
even
short area quickness of this athlete is premier. He's got it.
It looks like he got quicker. I didn't see that burst against Texas.
Well, maybe because it's Marshall.
Yeah,
but even then, like you see it off tape, like when they.
I'll tell you where he did look quicker, in the pocket, making the first free defender miss.
Yes.
He was making dudes miss all day in the pocket.
That one play when they're heading to the west end zone and that Mike linebacker comes free and he cuts left.
Coffee house stunt. Yep.
I mean, what in the world? That was like he disappeared. I did not see that from him last year. Now, again, it was sparingly and it was against much more competitive talent, but he looks a lot quicker. I don't know if top end speed, but
those are the conversations we have with him about being a runner. I want to have the conversation about him, the passer, because I think people are a little overcritical of what they saw Saturday because they don't know what they saw, and that's not on you. Okay, if you watch the TV copy, you have no idea that they're bailing 8. They're dropping 8. They're sending 3 guys back. They're playing 3 high safeties all football game. So in obvious passing downs, which was the only time they really let Gunnar rip it, other than like RPOs, rollouts, the first play action or the first actual pass in like real pass attempts on first and second down, they're all deep shots off play action. You didn't really connect, and a lot of them you got pressures. Okay, and we showed you some of that on film. So we're definitely not criticizing the quarterback in those. We need to talk about cleaning up the offensive line protections, and we did. But that being said, I thought there were 2 plays in that football game, one in 2 minute, where they have Dylan Bell running a deep over against that 3 high safety look, and Bill Belichick getting scored on pretty heavily right now. They got that 3 high safety, and Dylan Bell is running to avoid in the defense. We are playing on time, and we're throwing that ball right to the running back, right in front of Dylan Bell. I thought Dylan Bell was wide open. I thought Coach called that play to be wide open, and we turned it down. You know how we feel about turn downs on this channel. We don't love that. Also saw another turn down late in the football game, all right, where Colby Young's running a dig. We do the same thing, all right. We throw it to check it down to the running back, Cash Jones. I think ball gets tipped, one or the other. He picks up 5, doesn't matter. Colby Young is right there. The other thing we need to have a conversation with him about is deciding when and where we are competing, all right, and how we're competing. Prime example, there's a 3rd and 12, and we check the ball down into a tight window to London Humphreys, and we do it later in the football game to Lawson Lucky. There are opportunities beyond the sticks, okay, for us to compete into tight windows that are beyond the sticks. If we're going to put the ball at risk, let's do so on 3rd down for a first down, not for a check down. I think we all understand that. We all agree with that. But here's the deal. Here's what made it all okay to me and is really, really promising, especially if you watch the Arch Manning stuff and if you watch the Ty Simpson stuff and if you watch any young quarterback in their first real start. And I know this wasn't real, it was Marshall at home, but he plays on time. Whether or not he makes the right decision, whether or not he trusts himself to throw into certain windows at this point in his time as a starter, the idea that he is playing on time, 3 steps, 1 hitch, ball out, 5 steps, 1 hitch, ball out. All right, that's good news.
I think what's interesting to me is that you saw the opposite of that a little bit in his first 2 games, like against Texas, the second half throw to Lawson Lucky. That is a super competitive football. Like, we're rolling to our right, we're going to give our tight end a chance to come down with it, and he does. And then obviously against Notre Dame, like, he's chucking it deep, putting in great spots, and he's making tight window throws because you have to do that against Notre Dame. So if like part of me almost feels like this was a game of let's just keep it easy, let's just keep it simple, let's keep the sticks moving if we can. Like, we're not going to try and force anything if we don't have to. It felt like the approach that he took to me.
The best way I can describe how Gunnar Stockton played on Saturday was he took every right answer the first time he saw it. He didn't wait and say, okay, there might be a better answer coming. There might be a deep end breaking here. Oh, I see the check down's open right now. I'm going to take that. I see this quick hitch is open. I'm going to take that, which is completely fine because, like you said, he played on time. He was mechanically sound, and he looked comfortable in the pocket. Would you like to see a couple of deep overs get hit or a couple of seam shots, hold on to the ball a little longer? Sure, yes, a little bit. That's fine. But again, I think that he was playing very very much intentional on, I'm going to take whatever right answer they give me and not try to force too much. Because I don't need to. It's Marshall.
Thought Nate Frazier did a really good job picking up the dirty yards. I think he's almost overcoached at the point.
A little bit, yeah.
We missed some explosives and we missed some opportunities there. But guys, I think, and I don't want to be hyperbolic, okay, I really don't. But I think Dwight Phillips is going to be the next great Georgia back. I really do. I think every time Dwight touches it, it is noticeable that number 20's got the rock. All right. He is defying angles left and right. He is running past people. And here's the scariest part. That dude's breaking through arm tackles right now. So if you're going to see a lot of people diving at this guy because they took a bad angle on him when he gets in open field. And if he's busting through arm tackles, we're a second away from a 75-yard touchdown at any moment. And I don't know. I don't know the last guy that's like that. James Cook. It was 5 years ago. That's 5 years ago. It feels like, right? 4 years ago.
4.
That's a long time. Georgia's had a lack of explosivity back there, and that dude looks nuts. No pun intended, little nut.
Kirby Smart told us on the presser leading up to this game that he plays much more physical and bigger than he is, and that absolutely showed on tape. Like you said, running through arm tackles, just defying angles, being able to...
Just got to get a refill of this premium water right here, H2O, your drop, your impact. Shout out to the folks.
But yeah, no, Dwight Phillips looked very, very good. I was very impressed with that.
The difference between like when Dwight Phillips gets the ball and when Nate gets the ball is Dwight, it's immediate. Like as soon as his hands are on the ball, like it's full speed. We're already topped out. Where Nate, it feels like it builds. Like the longer he goes, it seems like the faster that he gets. Where it's just all gas, no brakes for Dwight, while also still maintaining physicality, as you mentioned.
Hey, did you notice that they found a brand new way to run counter?
Yeah.
Did you notice that the identity and base personnel of the offense has totally changed, that they're now a pistol unit?
Mm-hmm.
Did you notice that, what else did they add into this?
They ran tackle offset.
They ran tackle over for an explosive to Oscar Delt. But they showed that against Marshall, but, not very innovative.
Still throwing screens on third down, Brooks.
Yeah, that was weird, Because I remember a very pivotal 2nd and 12 screen against Alabama to Ladd McConkey that ran for a touchdown. It was a great play call then. Also remember another great play call yesterday or Saturday, 3rd and 4, blitz 0 check. Gunnar Stockton gets him out of it, throws a nice little check down to Zachariah Branch, who we know is an elite football player. And, oh, my God, 26 yards, just like that. And didn't really even get a block. Like we got things to clean up. Didn't really get a block, but, hey, 26 yards. But, screen pass on 3rd and 4. Stupid call. Not against a blitz 0. Not against cover 0. All out blitz pressure. It's not.
Mm-hmm. Was that all your film notes?
Because I only watched the offense. We're going to watch the defense tomorrow on patreon.com/Brooks Austin, which I see a lot of people running into lately because we teased in that film study. A lot of them goods going to be over on Patreon this year. Just too much going on. All right, and we want to show some love to those folks that show us love on Patreon. Patreon.com/Brooks Austin. Also comes with a tremendous Discord. I'm going to take a vigorous swig of H2O.
You were up in the box for this game. Did you notice anything up there that stuck out to you? I always think that's a very unique viewpoint of football games because, you're at the highest point. You literally see everything.
So it wasn't as much in the box.
Did you get altitude sickness?
Nah. But the thing I noticed, and this stood out to me most, because obviously when there's 5 minutes left in the game, you can walk down, you get to go on the sidelines, take pictures and all those things. The last 3 to 4 minutes of the game is decided. The 2s and 3s are in. There's no one sitting on the bench. There's no one in the back just talking, like lollygagging, doing all these things. Everyone is up on the sidelines. Everyone's cheering on their teammates making plays. That was not the case last year for Georgia. I've seen a handful of games finish from the sideline. That was very rarely happened. When the games were in hand and it was over, very much you got your groups of friends talking after the game. Some of the 2s and 3s are making plays. Some of the stars are cheering them on, but it did not feel like a cohesive team. Last Saturday, it felt like everyone was watching the game as it occurred.
I have one more important question for you. Were there halftime hot dogs?
No, there were not halftime hot dogs. And you would have thought that we were having a national crisis in the press room, dude. Like, there were people walking around going like, I heard there's no halftime hot dogs. Like, what? And then another person like, what? Are you serious? Oh, my God. it was pandemonium at one point. But we did get Williamson Bros barbecue. So
all right.
I'll take that over some hot dogs.
Let's take a quick moment right now here in the local hour to start rattling off some of these super chubs and talk to him. Hey, by the way, is H. Hoff on the board? I need you to look through them over there because we might have a new name going up on the board. H. Hoff says, local hour / ball knowledge question. Did anyone stand out for the safety spot besides KJ? If opponent was game planning, is there a consistent way to attack a weaker safety given UGA usually employs / disguises / splits coverages? It's a great question. I thought it was one of the bigger storylines that we failed to write about and talk about, which was Kyron Jones starting this football game with a hornet's nest on his hand, a la Jake Pope. And when we asked KJ Bolden about it, because it caught me off guard, like I thought they were going to roll Ja'Cory Thomas out there. I thought they were going to roll Zion Branch out there or Adrian Maddox out there. No. They started Kyron Jones at the safety position alongside KJ. And when KJ was asked about it after the game, he basically said, hey, Kyron's been here and Kyron has earned the right to do that and go out there and play. So I was a little bit surprised by that.
You know, one of the signs of how young this football team is to me is I felt like there were so many things that I didn't catch until I was watching highlights after the game or I was watching film with you today of just how many young football players got put into this game super early. And I know it's Marshall. Maybe that's not how it's going to be for the rest of the season, but there were some really young, like first-time players being put into the game.
Ethan Barbour started the game. Juan Gaston started the game. The 14th play on offense, they take a deep shot for Taylon Taylor. Yeah. Elijah Griffin on the field making a difference, looking like a playmaker as a true freshman. It's a young football team. A really, really young football team. So, yeah, as far as hiding the safety, I got to go watch the defensive film to actually break that down. See some other folks just showing some love. My man C-Dog said, third year with you guys. Love to see the growth. 100% because of consistent work and knowing ball. Y'all keep it up. Get my name on the board, Chris Westbury. All right, we got Chris Westbury, H. Hoff to add to the board. Hands down the raddest show on the college football realm. Much love to the whole crew. I've been listening since 2014. Hey, yeah.
Huh?
Let's say
2019, my bad. Football brain. Mark it down. Mark it down. Football brain.
You're being able to discern numbers now?
Obviously, a lower tier matchup, but any thoughts on what we saw from Dante Moore? Haven't watched it. Ain't gonna lie to you. Do you think Davon A-Chain is a good high-end comp for Peanut? If not, do you have one? Seems like he's a more natural runner of the football than A-Chain. A-Chain was just an explosive, wasn't he?
A-Chain's very choppy in my opinion.
Very choppy and kind of
maybe Texas saying him Devon A-Chain, but
Brooks and fellows, what analysis and comparison can you give KJ Bolden and Caleb Downs? One ceiling looks like Ed Reed. One ceiling looks like Kyle Hamilton.
It's fair.
They're both great players. They do it differently. I think KJ's a longer, rangier athlete. Caleb is a more instinctual, boxier, thicker athlete. They don't play the game the same way. I think KJ, if he needed to, could go outside and play corner. I don't think Caleb could do that, nor would I want him doing that. I would want him around the box. Does that make sense? So they're just different football players. I happen to believe right now Caleb is the best player in college football and the best safety in college football. I think next year KJ Bolden will be the best safety in college football and a top 10 player in college football. They're both great. They're just great differently. Let's move on, guys, to the 5 things we learned this weekend. I got to know OLI.
Oh, shocker.
I got to know OLI.
All right, go ahead and give your OLI, and then we'll...
OLI number 1. Oscar Delp just wasn't talking that talk. I saw effort. I saw physicality. I saw blocking to the echo of the whistle. I saw I'm coming out here to set them up tone. That's what I saw from Oscar Delp. I saw a level of physicality that makes me believe, okay, Todd Hartley wasn't just giving lip service every time he came to a microphone and said, you might be the GOAT in terms of in-line blocking that he's ever had. I saw signs of that. That is tremendous life and a tremendous thing that I learned this weekend. OLI number 2. Yeah, they're good enough to beat teams or the lesser thans with brute force. We talked about this. They weren't able to do this last year. They weren't able to just line up, play football, and beat the hell out of UMass. They weren't able to line up and handle business against lesser than opponents. That's exactly what they did on Saturday. They were so boring offensively. So boring, so much so that coaches on the microphone were complaining about wanting to throw the football more, I was told. And they were told to shut up. We're going to run this here rock today. Watch this. and they did it to 45 points. That was not able to happen last year. All right, we learned that this weekend. Number 5 thing I learned this weekend, you're deep. You are a deep football team. And I know Kirby likes to downplay it in front of microphones, but I look up in the fourth quarter, and I think Dominic Kelly's an NFL corner, and he's standing out there. I look up, and Joshua Horton's at defensive tackle. That dude would have started and played for Miami last night, and you're up 45-0, and he's just now really getting an opportunity to get burned on the football field. Justin Williams and Chris Kohler at linebacker, and they're going to be 12-year pros. I look over to the left, and DeMello Jones is playing corner. You understand me? I look at safety, 45-0, first time on the field, Zion Branch. The dude was starting at USC last year. Like, you're so insanely deep, and you play so many guys that it's going to matter come late in the football season. You're going to be able to, I would imagine, balance injuries a little bit better than everybody else. Prime example, Ernest Green, my back a little tight. Don't worry, Bo Hewley going to go in there and handle business. Oh, Juan Gaston goes down. Don't worry, Daniel Calhoun was a top 75 football player. We got it. You know what I mean? Like, that's not normal around college football. Not normally. So I learned that about your football team this weekend. Number 4, Raylan looked great. Y'all talk about year 3 leaps at linebacker. Raylan was all over the football field. I thought number 5 played like a bat out of hell most of the football game. I'm excited to go break down that tape there.
Looked like he's put on good weight, too.
Yes.
Looks about 5-10 pounds
a little bit
heavier.
thicker, especially in the arms and in the shoulders and in the chest. That is a thicker football player. It's a great in-person scouting note from you right there, son. Number 3. Gunner is good enough to make defensive linemen miss. He's twitchy enough to make guys miss. I think you're going to get back to that range where, y'all remember last year Stetson starting, you gave up 7 sacks all year long. I think y'all got an opportunity to give up sub 12. I don't know if you gave up a sack Saturday. I can't quite remember. But you ain't going to give up a lot of them this year because you're going to manipulate the launch point. Quarterback's going to be moving around, and he's going to make guys miss when free defenders ultimately show up. And they will, because teams are going to be good at simulated pressures. We've learned that. We watched Marshall throw a damn good stunt at you on Saturday and get home really, really quickly. The other thing that I learned, and it wasn't a guarantee, even though we saw Notre Dame tape, even though we saw the second half of Texas, even though we've seen mop-up duty from this cat, Gunnar Stockton plays the quarterback position on time, and that is huge in a system like yours. Yes, you've started adding in quarterback run. Yes, you've started adding in a different stuff in your run game. Yes, you're moving the pocket, but you're still a full read system on 3rd and 8, and that's important that your quarterback be able to play on time and win from the pocket, and I think he is going to be able to do that. And number 1 thing that I learned, all right, you're going to have winning counts in the run game. You're going to have really, really balanced counts in the run game. I watched 3 bodies in 3 hats dedicate themselves to the running back and give up a 30-yard explosive for a touchdown. I saw 3 moments, 3 4th downs that last year would have been TFLs, get off the field, turnover on downs that ended up being explosives for you, and that is a transcendent difference in how this offense is going to operate.
Those are really good points. First one that I have, you talked about depth. I specifically noted the running back room. I think the running back room is even deeper than I thought. We listed off a lot of names this offseason of guys who could potentially get carries, but I think Saturday what you learned is that Nate Frazier is a winnable player for you. Cash Jones is a winnable player. Chauncey Bowens, Dwight Phillips, still feeling out. Bo Walker, figuring out what a role is going to look like for Josh McCray, Roderick Robinson, those guys. But you have a really solid group of backs. You got really good options and multiple of them. So that's a really good sight to see there. This might be the most impactful freshman class Georgia has had in a minute. That might be a bit of an overreaction because it is Marshall. We see a lot of them, see them earlier than you probably will in other football games. Like, I don't know if Ethan Barbour is going to continue to start for Georgia or the likes of that. But the signs are there that this freshman class is going to be really special. They're already in, as I mentioned, they're getting rotated in early. They're making impactful football plays. They're seeking them out for impactful plays like Talon Taylor. They in the first half, these aren't just guys they're putting in there to see what you got. They're drawing up plays and making sure that they're in positions to be in winnable spots for them. You mentioned it, Brooks, but I added it on mine. Gunner is twitchier than I anticipated him to be. Certainly a more suddenness to his running style and as an athlete. Number 4. London Humphreys is going to be everybody's favorite football player by the end of the year. I can already foresee it.
I forgot to give him shouts on that in my film notes.
Yeah.
I haven't seen him. He's my game ball. Like, if I give out a game ball this week, it's going to London Humphreys, and I'm starting my team meeting on Sunday afternoon when we get all the guys back in after they go through their rehab process, their ice baths, their stems, all their rehab process. When they sit down with us at 3:30 in the afternoon on Sunday or whenever they do their team meeting, the first thing I would show is every single block London Humphreys threw on Saturday, because I haven't seen it like that in a minute, guys. I have not seen a football player block like that in the run game. Offensive line, defense line, period, point blank. And guys, it was a multitude of them. It was multiple. I'm going to run my face through that linebacker. I'm going to run my face through that safety, like as if I do not care about my body, because it needs to be done. All right. I saw the same thing from Cash Jones in a blitz pickup. My God, a linebacker thought he had a free run at it, and he met some 32 up in the hole, and he didn't like it. Bust his chin strap up open. All right. I also saw some fire, passion, and energy from pulling guards. I ain't seen a pulling guard knock somebody's block off in a fat minute. It's been so long since I watched a Georgia offensive lineman just murder a soul. And it happened twice on Saturday. Michael Morris caught a body. Juan Gaston, second play of the game, destroyed a human. Sorry to take over the segment.
No, you're fine.
But you are right. I saw dudes blocking their butt off. Not just downfield. I'm talking about physical, bite your mouthpiece type stuff. And I loved it.
Yeah, it's just... even if you don't remember a catch that London Humphreys made, you're going to remember other plays that he made. Like, that's the type of player that I think he's going to be this year. And he certainly showcased why he earned a blue cap in the offseason. I mean,
quickly.
That is how that guy is going to play. And it's a reason why he's going to be on the field starting for you this year. Like, he showcased that as well. The final one, and it plays into that, there is true juice with this football team. There's a different energy. I think, Kirby, your little anecdote from game day was a great thing. Talking about how everybody's up off the bench. Everybody's got high energy first game of the year. It may be a dub against Marshall, but we don't care. We're with our guys. You can see it when they play on the football field. Like, you can just see it everywhere. Different type of energy, different juice. I think the quarterback really keeps that up as well. Like, they look to him for that. He showed it as well. It's everywhere, man. Whenever you watch Georgia this year, you can see it.
My number 5, and we've already hit on this one, Ethan Barbour has already forced coaches to play him. Not even like is going to, has already done it week 1, made an impact, like just jumped up that depth chart.
Such a football player, you know? Like, I can't tell you how many times I watch, like, Ben Urosic, for example. Not to take a shot at Ben, he just made an NFL roster. But last year, Ben gets in the system with the same amount of time. Well, not really. He about 3 months less time to actually regurgitate or absorb the offense.
But had more experience playing college football.
Had much more experience playing college football. Counter is counter. You know what I mean? If you're an H puller on counter, it's been that way since it was invented. Just find the linebacker that's on the play side, get your hat on him, find him when you get over there. Ethan Barbour picks that stuff up like it's breathing for him. He picks up football on the offensive side of the ball like a savant. He is very much so. Like, I got to thinking about this the other day. Who am I going to compare him to? He is, who was buddy for the long time with the Dallas Cowboys?
Jason Witten.
He is Jason Witten. Who's my man Greg Olsen from Carolina Panthers?
Greg
right?
Olsen.
Who's my man Jeremy Shockey? Like, he's all of these types of tight ends that you just look at and you're like, how did that guy just give me $140 today? That's what Ethan Barbour is going to be.
Yeah. I mean, definitely already made massive impacts on this roster. Number 4, Zachariah Branch was as advertised.
Yeah.
That wasn't necessarily ever a doubt or a worry in people's minds, but seeing that on the field Saturday for the first time in person was like, wow, there is a difference there. There's a different level of explosivity that you see within that offense. He is as advertised. He is a great get for Georgia this offseason. Number 3, they're just now scratching the surface with this passing game. I think watching the concepts, and we talked about, you did on the film study, to where
the 3 concepts they ran.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it was not very complex. It was very obvious that it was, hey, Gunner, you're going to go out there and you're going to make the right decisions. That's all we want you to do today. The plays will come as we need them to. We are better than this team. Like, you know, that's not the mentality you want to have coming into the game. It is, and it showed.
Sorry, 4 concepts. I forgot flood. Off play action.
Yeah. And this goes into my number 2 one. Gunner is playing smart football right now. Not even just the decisions he makes in the passing game, not even just the decisions he makes in the running game. He's sliding. He's knowing when to go down. Things like that. It is very obvious that Gunner Stockton is not just throwing caution to the wind, which is what made him so great. And it's what he still does. Like, we still see the fire, passion, energy from him. But he's not as much saying, you know what, I don't care if I'm injured on the next play, I'm going to make this one. He's thinking about the next consequences of the plays that he's making. So that's really really good to see. And the final one, this is the most important one for me. This team wants to come out and punch you in the mouth. Last year's team wanted to come out and just lean on you. They're going to lean on you, let you score first. We're just going to Georgia our way to this win. We're just going to out-talent you. We're just going to keep leaning on you and win. This Georgia team wants to come out and bludgeon you immediately, get up by 30 points, and have the buses warmed up before halftime. And that is something that you absolutely love to see with this Georgia roster.
Amen. Amen.
What'd you got over there?
Oh, I'm just responding to YouTube comments.
Oh, nice.
Not that what you were talking about wasn't riveting. I just ADD'd out. That's on me.
It's all good.
You know?
Lovely.
Don't need a nap, but I sure do love sleeper.
Nice.
Attaboy. There you go.
You know what I mean? Promo code Brooks. What else we got? Georgia's schedule. Looking a little bit different after week 1, huh?
Yeah.
I got some stock reports. So that's how I'm doing this segment. Okay. I think there's 5 important football games this year. No offense to the Mississippi States of the world. No offenses to the UMasses of the world. No offenses to whoever. UMass isn't on the schedule. No offense to the Georgia Techs of the world. I think there's 5 really, really important games that will define your season.
I still think that's an important game, but
Tennessee, Auburn. Oh, I forgot Florida. Maybe 6. Bama, Texas, Ole Miss. But we didn't learn a lick about Florida this week. They played LIU.
Long Island
University.
They played Long Island this week. We'll learn a lot about them, I believe. They play USF this weekend. We might learn something about them this week. But nonetheless, starting with Tennessee, I think that's stock up for me. Obviously, very well noted what I've been talking about at the quarterback position with those guys for a while. And more and more I study it, the more and more I am fearful of preparing for a Josh Heupel offense. I think I would have a better grasp of how to defend Steve Sarkisian than I would having to defend Josh Heupel. That sounds insane. I know that. That sounds crazy to the listener today. But I think Texas's system has better players and Tennessee's system has more complexities and problems that are presented if I'm not prepared, right? And he's adding, okay? Sark's not adding anymore. And what do we see? Do we see any additions to what Sark's doing lately? I don't. I saw a bunch of additions to what Hype's doing right about now, including his screen game. Their screen game's getting better, and we know for a fact they're getting better in the deep portion of their accuracy, all right? If you didn't notice what Auburn was doing yesterday or this week or Friday night, they were running the Haynes King offense, and y'all know what that Joker did to y'all and has done to y'all for 2 straight years, so that's a stock up for me. The Auburn matchup looks a little bit more difficult. Now, it looks more difficult in when you play them because I think you get them week 4, right? Or week 5?
No, it's later in the season.
Okay, then I'm good on that. That's stock down because I think by that point, if you ain't figured out the passing game, Jackson Arnold's going to be without an arm or without a leg. You can't run quarterbacks 18 times in this conference. I don't think. Who's the last guy to do it? Cam Newton?
Probably.
KJ Jefferson was a shell of himself by the time he left this conference doing that stuff. And he was 6'5", 240. Damn near 260 by the time he got done playing. But you're going to get destroyed if you try to run the ball 18 times. You laughing? I'm serious. He got big in
such a stray.
He got big.
Yeah.
I think it was due to the fact that he was rehabbing so many times. It ain't his fault. But you get what I'm saying. I'm very... You catch Auburn early... troublesome. You get them game 6, I think. You're the end of that, that real tough 6-game stretch. Okay? By then, if he's healthy, they're a problem because of what he could do with his legs. Mm-hmm. He's obviously gotten bigger, by the way. Mm-hmm. Jackson Arnold has put on muscle mass to do this, to do what he is doing in game 1, and did it with some swag about himself, too.
That's one thing of talking about Georgia Tech and Haynes King. Dude, if they're going to make this dude go through another season,
bro, he almost died Friday night.
Yeah, it's already sparking up again.
If you're, I don't mean to bust down like I got tons of insider information about Georgia Tech, but I kind of do. I think Buster wants to play Philo. I think Brent Key and the guy that played there or was a quarterback, that's the coach there. No, Weiss, no. Charlie Winkie or Chris Winkie, the other quarterbacks coach, they want to play Haynes King. So if you're the coordinator, why not call 20 runs? If he gets hurt, I get to play my guy.
I think that's just a very different...
See what I'm saying? I know that sounds really crazy, but we got a great backup. If we got to win games, Haynes King's going to put it on the line.
Yeah, just a very different Georgia Tech than at that point.
It ain't like Haynes King's getting ready to be a first-round draft pick.
No, I know.
So he's willing to put it on the line, too.
I understand. So I would say
when is the FSU Bama film coming out? Hey, y'all get your opportunity at that one tomorrow. I was about to say something I shouldn't be saying. But I got more. I can't believe I should know this. I should know that the moment Alabama started having a downfall, guys, people would be in here wanting to watch it. You know, I can't wait to watch Bama's downfall. I've been seeing that all over the chat.
As far as Tennessee goes, and this may just be an us thing or maybe it's just a me thing, they kind of are the Tennessee that I expected them to be a little bit. Like, I don't know that much has really changed, in my opinion, because no matter who's at quarterback, it's the Heupel offense. Like, they're running the same things now. The difference is that Joey Aguilar already hitting the explosives when they weren't doing that last year.
And getting through reads.
Yeah, that too. So that's the biggest difference is you seem to have a comparable quarterback there who's actually going to run the system well and run it efficiently. But Tennessee just kind of remains Tennessee, in my opinion. Like, that was going to be a massive matchup no matter what.
Yeah. On to Alabama. It's obviously stock down. That's tough stuff.
We've hammered that one.
We've hammered it. We spent
down,
20 minutes in the national hour crapping on that one.
I mean, there's nothing else you need to say about that.
And, you know, I don't think it's any doubt. Texas did not look great offensively on Saturday. No. And you've already boxed them with the game plan, right? You know what to do. Get in the 50 down front, mix the coverages in the back end, get prepared for the post and deep overs. Like, it's repeat the game plan until they beat the game plan. You know what I mean? Like, you don't even have to really advance scout them. And they didn't look like they were winning too much on the outside when I watched it. Like, yeah, the quarterback dirtballed several footballs, but it wasn't like they got super freak weapons on the outside that terrified Ohio State. They got blanketed pretty good.
Yeah, not only did watching them play make you think that the stock goes down, but you get those two games at home. So it's not even like you have the added factor of, oh, well, maybe Texas didn't look great, but you got to go to Austin, or Alabama didn't look great, but you got to go to Tuscaloosa. Those are both in Athens. So certainly feeling better about both of those.
I'm still TBD on Ole Miss. I think
I just don't know.
Yeah, you didn't. I mean,
I'm gonna. By the way,
Austin Simmons looked really good against State, but it was Georgia State.
We're previewing Michigan and Oklahoma this weekend. We're probably going to look at Darian Mensah when he goes to Illinois, because I think he's got a chance to light it up. And I think we might take a look at Austin Simmons' first start against Georgia State to prepare you guys for what he's going to look like against Kentucky this weekend. That's what we're looking at from a national film study standpoint. From a local film study standpoint here, it's all Patreon moving forward. Patreon.com/Brooks Austin. And, like, again, Georgia fans, you get the full Sunday reaction show that's always going to have Georgia content there. You're always going to get 4 hours of this podcast every single week dedicated solely to Georgia football. And I gave you an hour and 5 minutes of offense only. We watched every single meaningful snap of the starting offense today on YouTube. You're getting plenty, and I love you for it. All right, so I hope you're happy with as much as you're getting. I hope you don't feel like we're trying to be bigger than the Dogs Network, right? Or we're trying to leave you guys, because as long as I'm here, as long as we have autonomy over this network, we're going to talk about them dogs, and we're going to do it better than anybody else. Any thoughts?
Nope, wholeheartedly agree.
All right. How should Georgia football fans feel about Carson Beck? And this is a conversation that needs to be had, because if you didn't watch last night's broadcast, it's very obviously going to be a talking point all year long. So it's week one. We better get used to this, and we better understand how we should feel about the starting quarterback that spent 4 years waiting his turn to play for you, and then played 2, or spent 3 years and then played 2, whatever the timeline was. He was here a long, long time. Now he's down there. And we'll get to the TV talking points here in a second, and whether or not they're true, or whether or not you want information on that. We can give you the side, all right? And we will ultimately give you a side. But this stuff is really, really weird. First and foremost, I'm going to let you know he's going to look really, really good as a passer. He always has. All right, so when you're watching Miami this year and he throws really, really pretty footballs, just understand that that's him. That's what he does. All right, now, you'll also see that, like we talked about in the National Hour, they get pretty anemic in the running game like you did last year. In critical situations, they have a hard time punching it into the box. They have a hard time running the ball on 3rd and 1. They have a hard time running the ball on 4th and 1. You can see this. All that stuff exists. He is the same player he has always been for you. You should know that. He's always going to be an elite passer. But here's the fact of the matter in this situation. And here's how Georgia fans should take this and absorb this, right? I think it's pretty clear, based off everything we know from both sides and the intel that this channel has collected, that both Georgia and Carson Beck were both ready for a fresh start. It was very clear that Georgia was ready to let Carson go, and Carson was ready to go elsewhere. It's also needing to be talked about that we live in a very math and simple natured sport nowadays. I know it's complicated. I know there's a lot going on Saturdays, but with regards to how your roster looks every single year, it's a bottom line sport nowadays. All right. So when a $4.5 million quarterback, or a quarterback that costs $4.5 million, exits your roster, you have an opportunity to add tremendous amounts of talent to your depth of your roster. For example, I have it on good authority that the number of players that I'm about to rattle off to you are in the ballpark and in the range of $4.5 million. You're paying $4.5 million for both of the Branch brothers, Juan Gaston, Elijah Griffin, Elo Mendoza, Noah Thomas, and Joshua Horton. You added all of those football players this offseason to your roster to go make you really, really deep in January, all because you had the ability to do so because you weren't paying a really, really high valued player. All right, that is what you should think about when you look at that. He throws a pretty ball. Zach Branch just went 3 for 95. He throws a pretty ball. Elo Mendoza will be getting sacks in November. He's still learning the system now. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's how you should viewpoint that. We don't even got to get into, is he a damn good dog? We don't even got to get into all that nonsense. Just think about it mathematically. You had $4.5 million of freedom to go out and add players, and you are more talented because of it.
Look, whether it's relationships or jobs or teams that we've been on, I think we can all agree that there has been a time in our lives that it just didn't fit. Whether that was for external reasons or whatever, sometimes you can't even explain it. It just didn't work out. And I think that is the exact way to describe what the experience was with Carson Beck at Georgia. He sat on the bench for 3 years. He waited his turn. He took his lumps. He was loyal to Georgia. He started, and it just didn't end up working out the 2 years he was there. I don't think that there's any reason to have ill will or harbor any deep thoughts about that. I understand that the 2024 season, he might not have played the way that you wanted him to, and that things might have gone astray there. I understand that he stood up on the mic after the game and said, I'm so happy I'm on a team that makes me glad to play football. All these things, I feel like I'm in a true brotherhood. You can say that with shots at Georgia or not. You can take those however you want. I think it's the reality that he is on a team that fits him very well right now, and he's very grateful for that. And I wish him the best. I don't think there's anyone that should harbor ill will to Carson Beck.
I do agree with that. There is not a Georgia fan that should be rooting for this kid's downfall or praying that he doesn't succeed or anything like that. You should not harbor any type of negative feelings towards him. However, that being said, I kind of do wish he'd stop fibbing to these TV guys when they talk to him, because the idea that he told an ESPN crew that he didn't have autonomy and freedom at the line of scrimmage is a bold-faced lie. It's a bold-faced lie. There is not a quarterback in college football that had more freedom at the line of scrimmage the last 2 years from start one, day one, than Carson Beck. All right? Because I'm going to tell you right now, he wasn't at the line of scrimmage all that time calling Mike IDs. There was a lot of checking at the line of scrimmage. And Kirby Smart don't lie to us. He has conned to the microphone every single time the last 2 years and say, we put a lot on our quarterback. We give our quarterback a lot of freedom at the line of scrimmage. So I don't necessarily believe that. Now, that part of it, Georgia fans have a little bit of right to feel some type of way, because that broadcast late last night, if you're a diehard, passionate Georgia fan, got into Georgia sucks, Miami's good, that's why he's succeeding right now, if you just have red and black goggles on when you absorb that broadcast.
Of course. And, as a Georgia fan, you are a proponent to believe like, they're sending shots at us. And look, it's major media. They're going to look for some sort of underdog story. You can't just simply say, things didn't go great for him. It has to be he has the underdog story, or he overcame some massive obstacle that was placed in front of him, whether it be a toxic environment from Kirby Smart or other players bullying him or the UGA fan base just being downright off to him. Like, there has to be some sort of trials and tribulations there for it.
This is goofy. I know it kills Georgia fans, but he is the reason Georgia isn't going to recruit another top quarterback.
Have you checked?
Never heard of Jared Curtis?
Yeah.
I never watched what's going on with Jaden Wade in 2028.
I think that
interesting.
My whole take on all of this is like, I know that his quote from last night after the game is getting thrown around about how he's loving football again, but my simple question to Georgia fans about that would be, were you loving Georgia football last year?
Well, we didn't even got to do that. What's the difference between Carson saying, I love football again, and every single Georgia football coach coming to the microphone and saying, I'm so glad I can coach again?
And that's what I was going to get to.
It's the same sentiment.
Yeah.
They're both happy. That's good.
That goes back to the exact thing. It wasn't the right fit for Georgia. It wasn't the right fit for Carson. And it seems like they have both gone their separate ways and found things that are right for them. I think every Georgia fan is happy about Gunnar Stockton. Every Georgia fan is excited about the way this team is being played, being coached right now. And Carson Beck, on the other hand, is very excited to be a part of Miami Hurricanes. He's very happy to be in that team. He's very grateful to be in a place that he believes fits him. It's as simple as that.
Yeah. Don't even have to go much further than that right there. Do you have any other further thoughts on that?
Nope. I mean, said right there.
No. I was pretty impressed by the win from Miami last night.
Yeah.
It was a massive win for that program.
I mean, look,
they've had several of those over the last 5 years. Can they keep that thing going? That's the question.
Miami got written off by a lot of people.
Yeah.
In the offseason, including us, I feel like. So
I didn't think it was going to work. I didn't think you were going to walk out week one and be dialed.
No.
They looked like offense was relatively easy for them until midway through the third quarter.
I didn't think that they would be able, like I said, Notre Dame wanted that type of game. They want it in the low 20s range where defense is galore and you're just going to lean on them.
One possession, fourth quarter.
One possession, that's where we beat you because we are the better team in the margins, and that's what we did all of last year. It didn't happen for Notre Dame. Miami did that. Like, Miami took over and played their game and won in the margins, which was very impressive for them to do. And that's not just a Carson Beck compliment. That's an entire Miami compliment.
Also, I don't listen to a lot of other people. I don't read a lot of other stuff other than the national news. I don't know how other people viewed Carson's season last year. But guys, we spent an entire episode explaining how it wasn't his fault. So I don't know where this narrative of everybody blamed him for the shortcomings. And like at one point in the broadcast last night, they acted as if we didn't know that Georgia led the nation in drops last year. I thought that was a very well-known statistic.
Yeah, and I
thought it was very obvious midway through the season last year that Georgia was having receiver problems, and everybody talked about it, and everybody knew that apart from the Florida game, none of those interceptions were on Carson last year. So maybe the narrative outside was he's got 12 interceptions, he stinks. I don't think the local beat was doing that to him, nor do I think the fan base was doing that to him. When I turned, maybe.
I got to be honest. The fan base, because I feel like, no offense to you, I'm pretty tapped in with that more than you at least.
For sure. My mentions are just galore.
There were, I'll say this, there were celebrations when Carson Beck got injured in the SEC championship game. Stuff like that, which, I mean, again, casual fan bases, and that's college kids being college kids, but at the same point, I don't think Carson Beck was very well liked amongst Georgia fans. And you can look in the chat right now and see that's fact.
You're right.
I can remember being at Carson Beck's first career start at the University of Georgia. Like, this kid has not even played a meaningful snap yet for Georgia, and there's people in the student section yelling explicitives at him and just calling him horrible names, even though they don't know anything about him. Like, I don't know what it is. Like, I know what it is about him, but like, I just think that he just didn't mesh with what Georgia fans typically like.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Gunner's the first quarterback, and y'all still talk about his limitations, but you don't have disdain for this guy. Mm-hmm. You seem to like him. If he's really, really good, he has the chance to be the first quarterback I've ever covered that is universally liked by his fan base. All right, but he's going to have to be really, really good, because if he has any limitations at all, there's going to be a portion of the fan base that still does not like him. All right, and that's weird to me. But guys, y'all hated Jake Fromm. There's a portion of y'all. I'm not going to say half, but 30% of the people listening to this today still feel some type of way about the JF versus JF discussion that we're not allowed to talk about. All right. Most of y'all hated DeJuan Mathis or laughed at him when he lost the job, right? I know for a fact y'all hated Stetson Bennett. The only guy y'all had hopeful optimism about was JT Daniels, and I think you harvested that only because you hated Stetson Bennett.
Very true.
And I don't think you like Carson all that much based off what we just got told. That's something we need to have an elaborate conversation about maybe one day. We don't necessarily have time to do so today. Maybe look yourself in the mirror as a whole collective fan base. And I know all fan bases are crazy. I understand that. Lord knows we're seeing it right now at Alabama. That comment about the basketball team is insane to me. Insane to me. Go let Nate Oates win a national title. To hell with football. I know y'all are passionate about this, but I'm telling you, maybe foreshadow or maybe moving forward. We don't have to talk about the criticisms of past. Maybe moving forward, just love the guy up because he's a young football player and he's still learning, all right? And when he leaves and he talks about, woe is me, I got picked on, he's probably telling a little bit of the truth.
I'm honestly just fed up with the storyline. I'm tired of talking about it. I think the bottom line is that both teams are better, or both parties are better off. Both people are in better situations, and both fan bases are excited for what they have at quarterback this year. And that's all it needs to be about. There needs to be no negativity around this.
Man, what a great show here tonight. Make sure you're hitting that thumbs up button on your way out. We were peaking pretty high with the concurrent viewership. So before you leave, make sure you hit that thumbs up button. We'll be back tomorrow with some more film studies here on the network. I'm going to look at Alabama and try not to blow a gasket. We'll see you tomorrow. Love you. Bye.